mashup. It's a mashup. Mike now runs the show. Mike now is in control. Blind Mike, who are these? It's a mashup. It's a mashup.
Welcome to Who Are These Socials, the world's #1 social media podcast. Is that what he says?
That's close. That's it. I think you're onto something.
And then he says, if you think you know more about social media than us, then you should have recorded the proof 4 months ago. I'm Mike Geary. With me, as always, is nobody except for my trusty producer, Casey Day.
That's it. Word for word. You got
That's
it.
more or less it, right?
Yes.
God, I listen to it every week, and I can never remember. I'm just thinking about what dumb thing I say. Hello, folks. Whatever dumb horse shit I have to say.
It's amazing that neither of us know the words. I've watched the show.
I asked Casey before the show. I was like, he'll know.
Didn't know. I'm
And
sorry.
he goes, no, I think he mixes it up every week. I was like, what are you not? It's so formulated. It's the exact same every week, and neither of us can remember. That's what a pro Carl is, but not me. It's the substitute teacher, baby. And we're on my channel. So that means a couple of things. It means no banter, because there's nothing worse than bantering about college football with Casey Day. So we're cutting that out, and we're not doing jingles. We're not doing super tips. I guess you can send us money if you'd like. But I won't read them, unlike that douche hamburger. And I guess you can watch Carl all weekend at Dabla. You know, I was going to come on and say, you know, it feels like overkill that these guys have a house all weekend making fun of a guy who ran away, waved the white flag, and then John posts a video today. So I was like, well, all right, boys, have at it.
It's a very bizarre video.
Guy can't get out of his own way. A terrible video. We have a little John to talk about today, so we'll mention it during that segment. And for those of you that care about Blind Mike Project business, I believe Craig will have an announcement for us on a live show very soon.
He's coming out? He's trans.
No, a live show, I said. Not just any announcement.
Okay. I thought it was going to be a live show where he comes out as a lady.
No, there is well, he may. That'll spice things up. But no, we have a Quincy finale planned. And we may have to change dates around based on a potential other live show happening around these parts. So we'll figure that out, but we should have a date soon. So Craig claims he may have some news for us on Sunday. So Sunday morning, there will still be a Blind Mike Project, folks. Stay tuned for that. I already have some good topics. So I want to get into maybe some Kill Tony stuff. Bert Kreischer on We Might Be Drunk. Tom Segura went watch shopping again. I just watched an episode of Rogan that was pretty interesting. So we got plenty of stuff for Sunday to talk about. But let's get into social business, shall we?
Absolutely.
Cut right to the chase here. We will start with my guy, GG33, who is... I find him fascinating, but we don't talk about him a ton on Who Are These Socials because it gets a little exhausting. Every video tends to be the same with him where, you know, they're all just, the numbers mean something. 8 is the number of money. 1 is the number of success. 33 is the number of geniuses. Like every number just represents some wacky horse shit. So it gets a little repetitive. But every once in a while he pops up with a brand new scam. And this dates back to the moment we found GG33 when I messaged him to see if he would come on with me and Carl to teach us a little numerology. And he said he's pretty much, he's like, yeah, I'm booked. This is in like January, I asked him. He's like, most of my mornings and afternoons are booked through like June. So if you guys could do like 6 a.m., maybe I could squeeze you in. I'm like, there's no way you're that action-packed day to day, GG33. Well, I could do GG33 right now. Give me a number, Casey.
8.
Oh, 8. That means you're going to have a lot of success and you're very good with money.
I am.
And sometimes money will come to you even when you're not looking at it. Doesn't that sound good?
And it will leave too.
Yes.
Stock market.
Well, no, not apparently. The stock market doesn't affect you if you're an 8, so that's good news.
Oh, amazing.
Let's hear this asshole's newest scam. The numbers he throws out. This is what in a normal GG33 segment, me and Carl would throw out as an astronomical, he would never actually charge this type of number. But this is what GG33 is charging for his teachings. You could learn the ways of numerology.
You know how I talk about every number, like maybe for about 10, 15 seconds? There I talk about them for like 10 minutes. So this is how the GG33 structure works.
Hold on. Let me give you, that came right at you. You might be wondering, what does that mean exactly? You've heard GG33 talk about numbers in short bursts. What if he talked about numbers for minutes on end? What if his horse shit lasted way longer than a TikTok video? Wouldn't that be worth something to you?
A book of numbers is what it reminds me of. What if you had a book of numbers?
Yes.
Academy. Then we have people who are in bronze. Then we have silver. Now, bronze is very dangerous if you know that type of stuff. Silver is even more dangerous. But see, there's a cutoff because you can join WOP, the GG33 WOP, and sign up for bronze and silver. And you can learn all the video classes and what every single enemy number is. So there's a lot of in-depth information. But
sorry, is it clear what he's talking about? Because he's a little all over the place. Do you get what he's saying?
You can take a class. There's 3 levels of class to learn numbers. Okay.
Yeah. That sounds, and I believe when you get to the highest, you meet Lord Xenu. It doesn't sound at all dangerous like what other cults have done before. But yeah, what he's saying is, and when he says dangerous, what he means is the knowledge that you accrue when you reach bronze status. You're something to be, you're not to be trifled with. You're a force to be reckoned with at bronze status. But if you get up to silver and pay even more money, oh my God, the danger, weak in the knees people get when you come towards them. So that's the type of danger he's talking about. And then he starts getting into the even higher tiers here.
GG33 gold. And in GG33 gold, that's when it gets real difficult to get in because it's not 5,000. It's not 10,000. We're talking about $35,000. Now, here's the thing. Bills.
Hold on.
Jesus Christ.
Does that sound like a joke to you?
Yeah, just leave your Tesla keys.
$35,000?
Yeah.
If you have $35,000 to pay for a numbers class, I think you're already doing pretty good. I don't know if you need GG33's teachings. If you have $35,000 just to waste on... But could you go back a little bit? Does he give $35,000 for how long? An hour, a month, a year?
I heard no predetermined amount of time, just give.
33 gold. And in GG33 gold, that's when it gets real difficult to get in because it's not 5,000. It's not 10,000.
Whoa, I didn't even catch those.
Yes.
Bronze and silver are 5,000 and 10,000?
Mm-hmm. It's
Holy
fair.
shit.
It's fair. How am I supposed to learn numbers without a bronze level certificate?
All right, GG, here's $5,000. Tell me what 4 means. No. That'll cost you $5,000 more dollars. That's the silver tier, my friend.
Talking about $35,000. Now, here's the thing. Bills, imagine you have $35K and you want to join GG33 Gold. Okay. You're like, Gary, I want to join Gold. Here's my $35K. At the Gold level, you got to sign the non-disclosure. At the Gold level, you got to pass the interview. Say you have the money.
Just like David Miskevich's wife.
Where's she at? No one's seen her for years.
Oh, so you know what? That makes me really trust you, GG33. I give you $35,000, and then I have to sign a document saying I'll never talk about what you just told me. So genius. I pay $35,000, and then can never tell anyone. Yeah, that was bullshit. Actually, he really didn't say all that much.
It's sort of genius.
It's genius, but is it? Because is he making? Who's paying that?
One person and you win. Like I've got.
That's true. That's a good point. That's a good.
That's 7 bronze plans, Mike. You know how long it takes to get 7 bronze?
The tiers don't quite make sense. What in gold could you possibly learn that's 7 times the value of bronze?
And does my bronze investment, does that transfer if I want to go to silver? Do I get a discount, or am I paying a whole new 10 grand for silver?
And
that's important to know.
That's a good question. Yeah, do you get to graduate to these levels?
Yeah.
But there's also GG33 Academy. I assume that's for the regular schlubs like you and I.
Yes.
I don't know how much that costs. He didn't tell us. I'm assuming, a couple $100 an hour or something still ridiculous, but not quite as crazy. He's just telling those people, I'm really screwing you guys over because I'm charging you for no information. You're paying me for an hour of GG33 Academy, but you could pay $35,000 and get the good stuff. Mm-hmm. So why would anyone pay for the Academy? None of this makes mathematical sense for a guy that's so obsessed with numbers.
We're focusing too much on the money and not what you get from it, Mike. You get to know numbers in a way you've never known numbers before at levels. That must mean something. It's worth. Let's give it a try. What do you think, Mike? That's chip in.
Hey guys, we're trying to hit the goal today. It's $35,000. See if we can get me a lesson with GG33. It's what's weird. He doesn't round that one down to 33 for numbers' sake. That's strange. I wonder what 35 means in his world.
Think how crazy we thought DSP was for $900 for 6 streams, and this guy's doing 37 times that.
I'd much rather watch DSP shave his beard or whatever the fuck he was doing than listen to this horse's ass drone on about numbers for God knows how long.
At 35 grand, I want 8 new numbers that don't exist right now. You got to make them up and drop pictures of them.
Here's what the Illuminati doesn't want you to know. These are the numbers that only Elon and Bezos and Zuckerberg know about.
Say you have stuff in the bank. Say you're willing to sign a non-disclosure. Well, you still have to pass the interview. I ain't taking your money.
Damn it!
First, you got to prove to me you got 6 figures in assets. I need to see.
Well, no shit. If I'm spending 35 grand, I would hope you have 8 figures in assets if you're giving this asshole 35,000.
I think he's just showing he's moral. He's like, hey, if you only have 50 grand and you're giving me 35 grand, this is a deal we can't make, man.
I suspect you're misreading because you're not taking into account the order of operations here. You pay the 35,000, you sign the non-disclosure agreement,
then you're interviewed,
and then you give him, for some reason, your bank account information, and you have to go through an interview. He doesn't mention a refund if you fail this interview process. So there's a good chance you could pay for the privilege to talk to GG33. I have a feeling I would get denied. I don't think I'm making it past the interview stage.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get that money back, Mike.
I know. That's the thing. I've already signed the non-disclosure, so I can't talk about
he got us. That's hilarious. What a public scam.
This is, I'm telling you, me and Carl would say, if we played a GG33 video, this is like the joke we would come up with. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement. You give me $35,000. Then you have to interview and see if you're worthy. Then I get your bank account information. That would be the hyperbolic. Can you imagine if this guy did that? He's spelling that out. This is a real offer he's giving people.
We don't even know what's after that because it's beyond the non-disclosure agreement. Like we're going to film you killing a homeless person and you hold that over you your whole life. This is a scary cult sort of thing.
Based on the documentaries I've seen, you have to give GG secrets about you that he can then hold over you as you raise through the levels. And if you ever turn on him, suddenly a rumor will come out about you that you shove gerbils up your ass or something.
Well, if you can't beat him, join him. He looked at Scientology and he's like, wow, they don't pay any taxes and they got all those big houses. I want that.
The Church of GG.
Yeah.
Own a house. I need to see if you actually have money in the bank, money in crypto. Because here's the thing. I don't want no brokies at my top level. I want to see you have some ads.
Can you imagine? All right, I've got $35,000 to my name and not a nickel more. What do I spend it on? Do I say put this towards rent? Do I put it in the stock market's down? It might be a good time to buy. What do I do with this $35,000? I'd really like to know what my birthday means.
When does pi really end? Oh, let me pull out some money here.
But he doesn't. You're thinking too much about numbers. He doesn't even teach you shit like that. He just tells you if you add all the numbers in pi, that you're really brave and courageous.
Wait, you're saying he's a scam artist? I don't believe you, Mike. No one could charge that much who's a scam artist.
This is, if we're doing a Hall of Fame of horrible scams, you can talk about Stuttering John's cancer charity. You can talk about the goal with Aaron Imholt, all these things. DSP, all these people can be in those categories. If you're talking the great scams of all time,
yeah,
$35,000, it's cartoonish
yes.
for what he is offering you.
This is the grifting Jordan right here.
This is like, do newspapers still put in astrology signs?
I think it's one of the last things they still have in there.
They do? It would be like if they took those out and the New York Times, you could go on the New York Times website and pay them $35,000 for that. And that number is not an exaggeration. That's what he is charging.
That's insane, man. I think there's 5 seconds left.
That's because I want to make sure you're not going to be a desperate person.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. Make sure you're not a desperate person. You're paying me $35,000 to tell you you're on the right path. At least Tony Robbins and Gary Vee and these people, at least they give you like words of affirmation you can go on.
Something you can post on your wall, you know?
GG33 is like, oh, you were born in 1991. 1 + 9 + 9 + 1 is 20, which means you're a 2. Nice.
Why does he not get more coverage? This guy needs more coverage.
It's crazy. Well, he picks his spots very well because, as we've often mentioned, the shows that he goes on, he'll always be like, man, if you don't believe me about numbers, what if I told you Michael Jordan and Warren Buffett were born on the same day? And the person always goes, oh my God. Like they're taken aback. So he finds the right people, which is why we may have gotten the 6 a.m. slot. So
he finds coincidences in life and takes advantage of people that are numbskulls. What a business plan. Mike, we have some super chats here.
Well, then let's hear them.
Bagsley just became a member. Congratulations, Bagsley.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Bagsley. Yes. I Come Buckets, $2. Mike wearing hand-length sleeves, 90s goth chick.
I guess I do kind of have them like that, but they're normal sleeves.
Yeah, it's a hoodie. Come on. It's not that bad. Detroit Dabbler, $1.99. Andrew Wilson debated this guy and clowned him. I don't know who
I don't know Andrew Wilson. I'll have to check that out.
Yes, but
you know what? Someone might have directed us to. I'll make a note of that. Someone may have directed us to that podcast before. I'll check it out.
I'd like to see someone call him out in real time. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he's never on a show where people push back on him, so that would be very interesting for him to have to defend this shit.
You can't. That's why he doesn't. Flatbush Tommy, $5. I think it's a fantastic business model, Mike. Do you know how long Johnny from Steel Toe would have to stand to make $35,000?
That's
Forever.
true. It's much easier on his knees than what Johnny Crutches is doing.
Yes. All right. You want to get to some LUIZ and Zach?
Yeah. So now we get into the Blind Mike Project business here. We'll kind of switch back and forth, change gears from what we usually talk about.
It's a mashup.
I was. That's exactly right. Shame on me for not talking about this the other day. Our friends LUIZ and Zach, the LUIZ and Zach show, maybe better known as the Real Ass Podcast, is ending. And the main reason this stood out to me, I was like, oh, that's sad when I heard about it, because they've been doing that show for 10 years, and I actually think it's a really cool, which we'll talk about, LUIZ mentions it in this clip, but I think it's been a cool kind of breeding ground for comics. Like, that's where I found Shane Gillis, Tim Dillon, Nick Mullen, a lot of these guys that I was aware of years before they were, big mainstream names, is because LUIZ gave them a platform and kind of, broke them into the podcasting world in a way. So I think the Real Ass Podcast, LUIZ and Zach did a lot for podcasting. I think LUIZ is a very important figure in comedy. But mainly I want to talk about it because it just dawned on me. I was supposed to do this show over the summer.
Oh, no.
I was like, God damn it. The only podcast that'll have me in the comedy world, I guess, other than Lauren Compton, was LUIZ and Zach, and it's now defunct. So got nowhere to go. Very sad, but
Well, they had Ray DeVito on at the end, so they should have had you. That's a shame.
that's true. And Gino Bisconti.
Yeah, come on.
So maybe the wheels were falling off a little bit. But yeah, let's hear it. LUIZ is talking about kind of what I think is the legacy of LUIZ and Zach.
No, I honestly look. Look, this is, we call it LUIZ and Zach, but deep down, this is the fucking Realize podcast, and I got to keep it realized. I'm not happy to step away. It bums me out. It doesn't make me. It's not because I don't like doing the show, or the show doesn't have legs, or there's not value in doing it. It's an amazing show. Like I love doing the show, and I love doing it with Zach. I just,
I love this show.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I love you.
Getting to come up here and do this is pretty impactful for me.
Of course.
I think it was a turning point for me.
It was impactful.
Butterly's another guy I found through this show. Like, there's a lot of comics, even now, that maybe are lesser known, that did a bunch of Real Ass podcasts, and that's how I found them. And like, LUIZ was very good at giving these guys a platform, and usually picking funny people that could hang to come back regularly. And yeah, like I said, Butterly's another one of those guys. And I don't know if everyone appreciates it for what it is, but there are, like, in a world where now people are trying to follow what like Kill Tony has, or what Are You Garbage has, and kind of try to come up with more of like a gimmick or something. It was something that was done a lot early on in podcasting, where people try to copy sort of the Opie and Anthony model, where it's just a hang and you talk about the news of the day or drama going on or whatever. And as podcasting evolved, that sort of went away, and LUIZ was providing for a lot of these guys one of the last places that would have young, essentially no-name comedians. And like, Tim Butterly's getting more and more popular and now has a real audience, but when I found him, he didn't, and nor did a lot of these guys. So I think it is, as Butterly said, Butterly was a good guy to have in for this, because he's a very sweet boy, and I think he understood like what that show meant to a lot of people, and he's talking about what it means to him here.
Maybe I missed it. Why is it ending? Why are they pulling the plug?
Basically, LUIZ had too much going on. So it's Zach is continuing the show, and I think they're changing it to Zach Amico's Morning Zoo or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So basically, LUIZ
fun.
has the Regs and Story Wars and Legion of Skanks, and he's writing a book, and he has a coffee brand and all this shit. And by the way, those other podcasts, the Regs, Story Wars, and Legion of Skanks, all get 100,000 views an episode, and I imagine even more audio downloads. LUIZ and Zach was not doing anything close to that. It was a good size, it was much bigger than this podcast, but like, it wasn't to the level of the other shows he was doing. So and it was 3 days a week. So I imagine the amount of time it was commanding in his schedule wasn't, the ends didn't justify the means.
Gotcha.
A lot of people. I mean, there's guys
so.
that, before you guys knew Shane Gillis and Tim Dillon, and like, these guys would come out. I feel like we have a show that a lot of people cut their podcasting teeth on, and we had an opportunity to it's in a studio. It's a great format where everyone's just riffing and having a good time. I think a lot of people use this platform to learn how to podcast and learn how to become better performers.
And then pass us and not return our calls.
They had a goodbye video, and Tim Dillon sent one in and said, now when I'm in New York, I won't have to pretend I'm busy or something like that. So it is funny that Are You Garbage and those guys like started doing Real Ass podcasts very early on. And it is like, Zach makes the joke that they all passed them, but it was a breeding ground for young comics, and LUIZ was good, or Shannon or whoever's inviting these people in. I think they were good at finding people that would fit that world well and having them succeed. Like, even, the guys I'm mentioning, like Shane and Tim Dillon, are huge now, but even people that I found, like Colin Terrell and Butterly is one, Mike Rainey. So credit to LUIZ for what he did with this show. You don't see a lot of podcasts end, and when they do, it kind of just disappears, It's not like radio shows where they have this big week of goodbyes when a guy gets fired or whatever. So I did sort of want to pay homage to LUIZ, because those type of shows mean a lot to me. And you can tell by the format of my shows that I'm very invested in a lot of this stuff. And I, unlike a lot of people that cover this stuff, I focus on a lot of the positive as well as the negative. So I really appreciate what LUIZ and Zach did. I'll keep following Zach, but it's sad that LUIZ is on to the next chapter of his career. But I wish him all the success. And LUIZ, have me on a bigger show when I'm in. Get me on Story Wars. What do you say? Come on, pal. It was because every time I'd messaged him a couple times and said, "Hey, if I'm in New York, is there any chance I could get on some of the Gas Digital shows?" And he would always say, "Definitely Real Ass Podcast or now LUIZ and Zach." And maybe because he knew it was ending by the time I would get out there, but but I never got to appear on there, unfortunately.
It'll all happen in time. Have patience.
Well, rest in peace, Real Ass Podcast. So long, my friend.
Mm-hmm. You know what else is apparently gone? Andy Dick's liver. Hey-o. That's a segue, Mike.
Andy it was a bit of a reach, but Andy Dick's mind is gone. Would have been the better direction.
Yes.
We talked about him. I forget if you or Craig was on the show. Do you remember we talked about him a few months ago on Adam Carolla's show?
I think it was me. Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard the voice. The voice is really, and we saw this with Artie Lang. You see this with guys where like the voice changes in a way where you're like, oh, this isn't even the same person in there anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Not that Andy Dick was ever all there, but this is just like a totally different guy. You can tell by the way he talks. And he went on the best possible podcast to expose that. But we love Matan Evan here. We've talked about him a bunch before. But this was interesting because it's very rare you get like sincere moments out of Matan Evan. Where I think Brian Callen was able to bring an almost sincere moment out of him when Matan gave him credit for coming on the show. But this was a real, like, Matan kept the character up the whole interview. But I think there was even a part of him that was like, this might be too much for me.
He found his ceiling. Matan found his ceiling. He's like, yeah, there it is.
Because Andy Dick is all fucked up. This is actually rough to watch.
Yes, this is called the intro. So this is how the show
just right out of the gate. This is what you get.
Excuse me.
If you can pull the mic close to your mouth, and then please.
Why don't you pull this close to your mouth?
Yeah, and then please, in case anybody doesn't know you, please introduce yourself.
Hi. There's 15 cameras going on.
Look
here.
in that middle one and introduce yourself.
I'm Andy Dick. I'm a movie star, television star. Just star all around.
You seem extremely intoxicated right now.
I could be more.
Or what are you on right now? Drunk?
This and that and hither and thither. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
Did your dad or mom, you're not gonna like it, did they used to drink?
Like he has no idea. He's like, you're not gonna like it. He's all fucked up. And Carolla was a little more delicate with him. I think because maybe they go back a long way, so Carolla might have been more kid gloves. But even Carolla got fed up with him by the end. But Matan, like that's his whole shtick is to call it out. So he has to say right out of the gate, "You seem fucked up, man."
Yeah, gave him some low-hanging fruit Matan there. He didn't have to do no research on that. Just
Matan like pulled back because I think if you're less ridiculous, that's when Matan has to really do work. But he didn't have to do anything for this one.
He made Matan the straight man.
Yeah, really.
This is called Get Sober.
Like for real, this is Matan's trying to help this guy. It's wild.
I don't think Matan can drink yet in America yet. He's still under 21, right? So this is
17. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you not worried that if you don't get sober soon, you might end up like a ghoul from Fallout?
Like a what?
A ghoul, basically a zombie. You're almost there. You're 90% the way there. That's not much different from how you are outside.
Right? So I'm already there. Oh wait, what's he going? Can I see what's in that?
Are you not worried about that though?
Worried about what? Seems like you are.
I'm a caring guy. I feel kind of bad.
Even like the character is like, yeah, man, I'm a little worried.
It's like a Matan intervention right here.
And it says something. If you're worried about Andy Dick, it really, because he's always been wacky. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But this is like, he keeps going to his fucking drink that's obviously full of something. He's slurring his voice. He sounds like a movie he was in. Old Will Ferrell when he gets stabbed in the neck with that dart. You're crazy, man. Like that. That's what his voice sounds like now.
Yeah.
So it's just bad, and it brings out Matan's gentler side, where he's like, "Yeah, I don't even know what to do with this interview. Are you all right?"
Ruins Matan, turns him into just like a PG act. Boo.
No.
Okay.
This is
well,
what
okay.
this is what Schaub should do. Go in, just like on a first have a public meltdown, so it's not like no one thinks it's a bit. You know, have a real public meltdown, and then go into Matan's studio after like a week of doing speedballs, like Farley on SNL. Like go in real banged up, and then maybe you'll get a gentler Matan. That's what Brendan Schaub has to do, I think.
Yeah, Andy Dick is the Lewis and Clark of empathy comeback tours here.
Yeah.
Come
I think that is a no. Do you think your friends would be doing you a favor by putting you down already?
Oh my God, I have friends.
Oh, we have a fungus growing out of the table.
Andy Dick kind of tries to do bits, but it's tough. Like that, oh my God, I have friends line might have worked 20 years ago when he was just like the party guy. And they're like, Andy, you got to settle down now. You're a bit wild. Now it's like, hey, man, someone should be looking out for you. It's actually not a joke that you don't have friends. We're worried.
This man has been doing this for so long. It's crazy. He's the Keith Richards of like Hollywood, parties and being drunk.
I mean, the thing about Andy Dick is he never had a thing like Artie Lang in this state. I know, particularly you and me, because we love Artie Lang, we would be very bummed out by this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Artie Lang is a treasure in the world that he came up in. Andy Dick doesn't have that sort of a fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no diehard news radio fans that are heartbroken by this.
Well, that one episode of Star Trek he was on was pretty good, Mike. It was pretty good.
Right, yeah. In the Army Now holds a real place in my heart.
This one is called Memory. Probably lack thereof.
I assume. I don't remember, but I think that's a pretty good guess.
Irony. Oh, the irony. Here we go.
This is scaring me.
Do you think if you wake up tomorrow, you will remember this interview?
That's a good question.
I don't remember what I ate for breakfast.
Well, that's easier to forget, but I have a feeling you don't remember anything.
Yes.
And why do you think that is?
Dementia.
Dementia? What about the fungus? Maybe you have a fungus in your brain, possibly, or no?
Well, I have one right here, and he is trying to get in my butthole.
No, he's not. That's
he is.
See, you're gay. You're doing gay shit. Stay away from me.
I'm right here. I'm in it.
Yeah, but keep distance from me.
I'm over here.
Even the gay jokes Matan was making, I feel like he didn't fully get into them the way he usually does. Like usually he's very extreme. He's like, "Get away from me!" He'll like yell it. This was like, "Oh yeah, get away! It's crazy. You're gay." Ah, Jesus, this guy is melting down in front of me. Like I feel like Matan was really bummed, and it's actually kind of sweet in a way because you're watching Matan, who doesn't give a fuck about Andy Dick. You're watching him actually do something that I'm sure so many family members and friends have tried to do for Andy over the years. But like you're watching Matan do it, who has no dog in the race. And Matan does get to later the leeches that Andy Dick has around him. So ultimately it's sad. I mean, I guess this is not the time or place for this discussion. But like, what do you do with someone like this? You know what I mean? Like I've had addicts in my life where it's like, I guess at a certain point, like they have to want to help themselves. So there's nothing you can really do. So like, what the fuck do you do for Andy Dick other than just like let him die inevitably? I don't know.
It's crazy because Matan's whole thing is like make it awkward. And then when real awkwardness is like overflowing the room, he's like, "Oh, this is way too fucking awkward."
I think that's good instincts. I still have no idea how old Matan actually is. He says he's a 17-year-old from Israel or whatever. I don't know if I believe that 100%. But however old he is, like, he does seem mature. You know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised at the way he handled this well. Whereas, like, I think the instinct for someone maybe less talented than him would be to fuck with Andy Dick even more than he would other people. But he's smart enough to pull back and let Andy be the train wreck on this one.
And now he's going to ask some tough questions, Mike.
Good. It's about time, Matan. Turn the heat up.
Let's continue. You didn't answer the last question, but I don't think I'm getting an answer to any of these.
What's the last question?
We'll move on. Is asking if you're sober similar to asking if a bear shits in the woods?
Identical.
And why? Can you explain that in case the audience doesn't
Because
get it?
I'm not sober.
Yes.
And bears shit in the woods.
Yes.
Next.
Nice. At least I got an answer. That's good. What the? At what point in your life did everything go wrong?
Doing this fucking interview.
No, it was way before that. Like
really?
4
How
decades
long?
Ago. About
decades. So
6
40
decades ago.
years
No,
ago.
6 decades ago.
So 6 decades. That means 60 years. That means I was 10.
No, you're 59.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you weren't
So
10.
6.
You were not born yet. I'm saying it went wrong when you were in the womb.
You know, why don't you talk to my mom about it? Who's alive?
She's alive. That's nice.
Jesus.
Yeah, it just gets like uncomfortable because Matan can't do the usual fuckery. You know what I mean? Like he's had varying responses where like David Lucas got like angry with him. Whitney Cummings kind of fought back. Like people have had different responses to Matan, but this was a weird one where Andy was the show. Like Matan didn't have to do any work.
Makes Brian Callen look like a goddamn genius.
Yes. Yeah, Brian Callen really shined compared to this asshole.
Let's get physical is the next one. I think there's some touching.
Yeah, this is... Matan usually instigates it, but this one is a little more uncomfortable.
When people say they're California sober, they mean usually that they smoke weed and that's it. When somebody says they're Andy Dick sober, does that mean they're on a bunch of drugs and ready to grope random people?
Okay, how about this? Which one do you want? All of the above?
I want whatever is the best answer you can give me, please.
No, but what would you like to have happen to you?
Oh, no, don't fucking touch me. I'll start swinging.
Let me take my glasses off first. But...
You got Andy Hard saying that.
You can see the scrapes I got into last night. But what's the question?
When somebody says they're California sober, they usually mean that they smoke weed and that's it. When somebody
Do you
says...
have any?
Any what?
Weed.
No.
You already told me you don't smoke weed.
I don't. When somebody
Hey,
says
I
they're Andy
do.
Dick sober, does that mean that they're on a bunch of drugs, high out of their mind, and ready to grope random people?
Take the groping part out. No.
You've been arrested for it like 8 times.
Okay. 8? Okay.
Something
You're
like that.
keeping track? Okay, good. You want it to be 9?
It's not going to be 9. I'm a kung fu fighter, okay?
What's wrong with all of you?
I think we're all scared of you touching us.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Yeah, open that up.
Can I ask a question to the
Really?
colored person?
Yes, hello, colored person.
Are you high right now?
On weed, yeah.
You are? Where the fuck's...
Love my weed.
Do you enable this type of behavior?
I don't like him drinking. I don't believe in drinking, but I do let him smoke, though. But I don't let him
It seems like
drink.
that's going well.
You didn't smoke me.
How
out,
can you, in
fucking
future,
dumb-
try to prevent this behavior?
Sometimes I put a straight
I
jacket on.
love this guy so much because he's trying to take care of me.
Well, I feel bad. This is almost a depressing thing.
Boo-hoo. Cry me
You
a
said that
river.
earlier. Pull the mic
Cry
closer
me
to
a-
you.
Cry me a river, boy.
I'm not that invested in it.
Okay, then are we done with
I
this?
took
No,
a
no.
detox 2 times in a row.
Oh, I read that you've been to rehab 20 times or something like that.
33. Can we
33?
go then?
That's the record yet, or do you know? Is there an official?
37.
That's the record. 37.
This is what's sad is the people hanging on to Andy Dick don't give a fuck about him.
No.
And I mean, neither do I, by the way. So I don't really care ultimately what happens. But you hear in that clip, like Matan has more compassion for this man than the people around him, where it's like, yeah, man, I don't like when he drinks. Meanwhile, and he has drinks with him. You know, they didn't stop him from drinking. And they're like, but he can, he can smoke a little weed or whatever. It's like the guy's an addict, and these people are trying to make a documentary about him, which Matan will address in a minute. But Matan has more compassion for this guy, where you hear him pull back there and be like, these guys are fucking enabled. You almost hear him. I don't know anything about Matan, the real guy. Like, I don't know what his conscience is like, but it feels like he's thinking, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with these people? And he keeps kind of pressing them for calling him out. Because Andy, you can hear by Andy being like, can we get out of here? That might just be the addict in him, that he's being questioned. He wants to leave. But it does not feel like Andy Dick was the one who was like, let's go on Matan Evans' show. What do you say? And he really does live. He lives like a homeless man. If you see, like, you heard him there where he's like, I got into a scrape last night and all this shit. Like, he lives like a homeless person.
He lives like he's in Mad Max all the time. And I, like we said the last time we talked about this guy, like I had some personal dealings with Andy Dick back in the aughts when we had a band in Hollywood. This is what he would do. He would literally like go to the Greyhound bus station and wait for like young men who are just to Hollywood to get off the bus. He's like, hi, you're going to be my helper. Right. And they would just all exploit him, every single one of them. But he didn't care because they would also bring him alcohol. And it was the craziest thing that this is still going on like this, that he can still, because of fame, you can still find people. This is the Stuttering John thing, you know?
But what, like, how much money did Andy... Oh, well, actually, I can answer my own question, because both in the Corolla interview and in this one, I don't have as many clips of it this time because we talked about it with the Corolla one, but he says, like, all the money he makes now goes right to his ex-wife.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think he has even any money left.
Nope.
Which is the crazy part.
There will always be star fuckers, Mike. And like in LA, when you come to LA, there are people that literally just like feed off the energy of others. And Andy will always go to a bar, find someone to buy him drinks, find someone to let him sleep on the couch. And now he's on his YouTube channel. Now Andy Dick's on your YouTube channel, and that's helping your YouTube channel.
And we see it with Stuttering John, who was less famous than Andy Dick, definitely.
Same fucking thing. Exactly the same thing. These guys should do a show. Stuttering John, Andy Dick would be an amazing show.
Yeah.
Exploited. Good topic here. That's what this next one is.
Yeah, I wonder what this is about.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some more interesting.
Why would you slap a drink out of my hand?
I didn't want to get out.
Matan slapped it. He was like, I'm not going to let you drink in here. I'm not like these assholes. I loved Matan after this. Like I said, maybe it's just for the camera. I don't know anything about this kid. But like, I feel like this interview showed me something that I didn't know about him, where Matan could have been the one exploiting Andy Dick, and it didn't get that sense. Andy sort of gives him the ability to do that because he's such a mess that Matan gets to look like the good guy. But I did grow a new respect for Matan, the way he treated Andy's addiction here.
The exact opposite of everyone in Los Angeles has treated Andy.
Right.
This kid is smarter than fuck.
Alcohol under my presence.
So you admit that this is a prison?
No, my presence. But I mean, basically, I locked you in here. Well, no,
I wanna leave. I wanna leave.
I just locked all of those guys out of here.
Who?
Those guys exploiting you for their documentary.
Okay.
You just realized that? Are they paying you for that documentary they're filming?
No.
They're not?
Don't make me sad.
That made you sad?
No, don't make me sad.
Did that make you sad?
I'm not sad. Look, I'm happy.
Yeah, extremely happy.
It's also hard to know. It's hard to know what's a bit with Andy Dick, because the way he says that, maybe he's being sarcastic. He's in such a state that you can't really tell. But like, good for Matan for being like, it never crossed your mind that these fucking assholes are exploiting you. Like, Matan calls them out for what they are. It's not getting through to degenerate skull of Andy Dick's. No. But I really appreciated how Matan treated this one, because it would be so easy to fuck with the train wreck, to poke fun at him. And I mean, obviously in his own way, he is making fun of Andy Dick. You heard a lot of the pre-written lines and everything, but I don't think he realized what a mess was walking in there. And it felt like he pulled back a little bit.
One of the hardest things to do, especially as I'm a young podcaster, is to avoid the pile-on. It's like easy to just like go, hey, everyone's flowing this way. Let's pile on. Let's jump on Andy. To stop and go, hey, what is wrong here? That shows a level of maturity that's beyond 17 years.
And we do, and Matan, being a young guy, grew up in a different time where, back in the day, it would have been, hey, have fucking, Beetlejuice do math or whatever. Exploit the retard or the degenerate or whatever. And Matan grew up in a different time where maybe he knows that would be looked down upon if he went into that too much. But as a guy who's made his bones for fucking with people, I respected the way he approached this, where he was like, on some level, trying to get through to this maniac.
I think also Matan deals in comedy, and there's not a whole lot of comedy surrounding Andy Dick. So, if it was like a Beetlejuice or Eric the Actor, I think Matan could find the funny in that because it's funny. But where Andy Dick is just, this is not
sad.
This is not
it's
funny.
tough.
Yes. We got a few super chats here. Droopy Balls, $4.99. Happy Thursday, good friends.
Thank you, buddy.
To you, Droopy Balls.
Droopy Balls, one of the Havre de Grace 6.
Yeah. Jay Lorderer, $4.99. How many times have people tried to rehab Andy's career? Ugh, so many. Kimmel tried. Howard tried. It's over. It's over.
Can I ask you? Maybe you're more aware of Andy Dick's career. Why is he around so much? You know what I mean? Like I said, with Artie or with Chris Farley had SNL and Tommy Boy. He had these major tent poles. Belushi had SNL and Animal House and Blues Brothers. Like, they had these major things that you could point to and be like, that's why they kept getting jobs. That's why they were beloved, despite all their faults. Here's this major body of work. That's why they kept getting hired. Why is Andy Dick still around? Not that he's still getting hired, but he was for a long time. But there's no thing, like, his biggest success would be news radio, right?
Yeah, so I think what's happened at a certain point is the soap opera of Andy Dick's life has become the focus of the curiosity. It's not that he's an ex-actor, but it would be as if Stuttering John had gotten 5 DUIs and had gotten arrested for groping a few people. He wouldn't be just studied by this small group of people called the Dabbleverse. He would be studied by a larger group.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is, with Stuttering John, I know why I know Stuttering John's name.
Yeah,
he was a big part of the Howard Stern show for the, maybe the best of its run. You know what I mean? Like, he was on that show for a long time when a lot of people were listening. I guess what I'm saying is, why is Andy Dick? Why do we all know his name? Why is he so famous? Because he's never been in anything.
Yeah, just because my answer is he's kept his goddamn name in the news and headlines for decades, and it has nothing to do with acting. So that's just what all the news people refer to him as, actor. Even though
and I'll amend that. He's been in a lot of stuff, but he's never. It's never the Andy Dick project.
No, he was in the Ben Stiller. So he was at the begin. I give you an answer like he was at the beginning of a lot of revolutionary type shows that had an impact on other artists who watched those shows. The Ben Stiller show was huge in comedy. Everyone watched the Ben Stiller show. It was sort of like the first Eric Andre, Tim and Eric, just ridiculous kind of show. And so he was on that. And so same Janine Garofalo. What has she done? Same sort of thing. Everyone knows her. It's kind of where they were at a time in history, maybe.
I guess.
No, I'm not trying to give you an answer here.
I'm with you. I understand.
John Blake. The one pun, $2. Andy went on Matan hoping Chris Hansen wasn't there.
Yeah, he probably thought he'd have a different outcome.
Yes. Oh, we got one more. Just came in. Rocket Beat, $2,002, $5. Thursday viewers rule. Wednesday and Saturday viewers drool. Oh wait, wrong show. Yes.
No, I accept it. We'll start a war. We'll bring the Thursday boys against those Wednesday and Saturday ne'er-do-wells.
Yes, and you guys crushed the morning guys, so don't even worry about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, are we ready for a little? I gotta say, a CIRISANI smoke show. I'm gonna say it. I sure hope she's of age.
I think I think you're safe. I think you're safe. But we're talking about a story with John Cerasani that he has brought to light. I went to John Cirasani's Instagram, and there's a focus of his videos lately, and he addresses it. So this is the first video I saw, and then I'll tell you, we'll show you what he's talking about after this. So this is the latest controversy. You know, Cerasani always addresses the trolls. He has a long back and forth with the haters in his comments section. And this is the latest thing those nasty haters have noticed.
Guys, if you're not paying attention to the screen, pay attention to the screen right now, please.
Leaving for Chicago in a few hours. This is the final gambling update from Nassau, Bahamas at the beautiful Baha Mar Casino. Listen, man, it was a frickin' battle. We started in a hole of $100,000 plus on night number 1. That was Thursday
Okay, this
night.
part you can ignore because this is every
thing.
video. Go to John Cirasani's Instagram right now if you haven't before. Scroll through real quick. Every video will be him talking about how he was down $100,000, and it's always $100,000. It's amazing how this guy has this formula. He gets down $100,000 and then wins it all back. I think he should put a portion of that to GG33, and then he'll learn numbers in a way that he's never down $100,000. That's the type of investment he should be going after.
2 number magicians meet. Oh my God.
But this is not about blackjack. So throw that $100,000 loss out the window. That doesn't matter today.
Before we get any further, let me briefly address how disappointed I am in some of you in the internet, specifically on Instagram, for even suggesting that I'm exploiting my daughter, I'm using my kid for views, or, you know, let me just explain something to you guys. When a daughter wants to go on vacation with her dad, I think that's a win. When you go to places like beaches, you wear things like swimsuits, okay? Maybe work on the relationship with your kid. Hey, maybe work on the relationship with your parents. Maybe both, dude. Maybe both. Hey, if the parents don't like you and the kids don't like you, it's time to start pointing the thumb, buddy. Quit blaming everyone else. It's you, pal. It's you, all right? Don't take it out on me in the comments, little buddy. And God forbid, my daughter and her friend want to be in my videos. I should be like, no, you guys can't.
Oh, it's the daughter and the friend now.
There's a lot of friends.
Cool attire and you're pretty. Only Gen Pop Jake could be in my videos, not you guys. Come on, guys. Get it
don't do
together.
that. Don't give all the royalties to Gen Pop Jake. Why let him bask in all the spoils? Spread it around a little bit. That's what John thinks, is we were all saying, hey, give Gen Pop Jake the shine. You should be exploiting your son, not your daughter.
It's gonna be a hard father-in-law to live with, Mike, but I think I can do it.
Well, Casey's very excited. We'll see the daughter in a moment. I'll keep playing because I forget where he goes here.
Together, all right? Here's how the gambling went, guys. All right, I won my money back at the Atlantis. That was huge. Jumped off the boat.
I was just making sure. We can move on. I just wanted to make sure he won all his money back. That's good. It's crazy. I never hear him go down $100,000 and then lose more money. It's the damnedest thing. That's always the cap for some reason.
It's a Buffett type run of luck he's having, a Warren Buffett run. He's
right.
Congratulations, Sean.
Well, that's the thing about John Cerasani, is he's driven the same car for 15 years, and he has a house in Omaha. He's a reasonable man.
All right, we're up to the daughter video.
Well, Casey's very excited about this.
I mean, she's of age, you said.
He's just hoping she's not 16, which I don't think she is. I think she's at least college age, if not older. But
I'm on a limb here.
But we're gonna see what he's talking about. So I saw that video first, and I was like, these people, they're always giving John a hard time about something. I'm sure he's not exploiting his daughter. Then I scrolled down a little ways, and you tell me.
Andy Dick's people are less exploitative. Hey.
I'm with my daughter Anastasia and her beautiful friend Alexa. How you guys doing tonight?
Hello, ladies.
Did you guys do good at the casino?
Not us.
No. All right, guys, listen. I needed to make $18,000.
Can you describe, by the way, what they're wearing?
Not much, Mike. Not much. I mean, I'm not looking. It's still kids. They're still kids, but she is. That's a lady. That's a lady, Mike.
I mean, that's classic father-daughter relationship. You yell, honey, get in your most scantily clad outfit and get down here so I can film you for Instagram. Come on.
What's going on? And I'll get you some drinks. Daddy, I'll get you some drinks. They all got drinks in there.
I love his attitude about this, where he's like, oh, you guys are saying I'm exploiting my daughter? Oh, just because she's in a hot outfit? Well, which, if you get to that point where you're saying that, oh, just because my daughter dresses hot?
Because she dresses like Beyonce? What's the big deal here?
You guys think because my daughter's really sexy that I'm exploiting her?
Get back to even. I went in 100 grand in markers. Let's see where we ended. What time is it, guys?
The camera positioning is very, very funny too, Mike, because he's in the picture, but he's not the focus of the picture.
Really?
You understand? Yes.
You think he's angling it so they're really in there?
He wants you to see the full outfit and all the holes in the dress. Oh my God, so many.
By the
holes in
way, is this the kind of video that two? Oh, you know what? They're drinking with him.
That's right.
They have to be 21, right?
I'm hoping Vegas is very liberal, but my God.
Let's assume two 21-year-old girls. Is this the type of video that they're like, Dad, please, can we be in the video about how you lost $35,000? That number's just in my head now. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah.
1 a.m. On the dot. 1
Probably
a.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys like the Bahamas? You like Miami better?
We love the Bahamas.
Bahamas.
Yeah. All right, let's count the money.
Okay, so Mike, there is a lady who's standing and letting you look at her butt, and the dad just goes right to it. This is pre-planned. This is.
Well, now you get to see how skilled they are. Like, hey, if you think I'm exploiting them, what if I made them do like, Vanna White's job? That's a proud working woman.
What is it,
25,
Alexa?
25,000,
50,000,
75,
100, 105.
105.
They're blackjack
110.
bimbos.
Yes.
They're John Cerasani's blackjack bimbos. He has his daughter and her friend, by the way, which, like, that's where he loses any credibility, where he's like, I'm spending time with my daughter. It's like, why is the friend in this video?
Two of them, yeah.
115, 120, 120,
10.
It's 100. Let's go.
100.
Hey, John, maybe
300,
pay for
400.
more classes.
Where's GG33 when we need him? Come on, ladies.
Get these gals off the beach and back in school. What do you say?
Yes. College.
Guys, we have $120,800, guys. We came
You made
all
them
the way
count the
back.
hundreds.
Look how rich your daddy is.
Just call it 128,000, John.
Gross.
From starting out in 100 grand hole. We're leaving the Bahamas up 2,800. I got a bunch of cash that I've been pulling out on the side. We're up about 8 grand. Let's freaking go. Winners win!
I mean, that seems like a really cool dad. Those young girls were probably like, Dad, it's so awesome when you count your money and yell winners win. All the kids at school think that's really, they think you're just the best, man. They all wear their not Gen Pop shirts and they tell me how cool you are. So I want them to notice me on your Instagram. And John's like, fine, reluctantly. I don't think, listen, you ladies in those outfits, I think it's going to really squash my numbers. I think it's going to get me shadow banned, but I guess I'll do it because I'm your dad.
Oh my God. Okay, this one's called She Seems Excited, and we focus on the
No.
daughter
It has to be a different girl because I said to myself, all right, guys, you're being a little much. You're just looking for a fight with old John Cirasani. He had his daughter in one video. Who cares? She begged to be in it, obviously. It's not like he posted another one. So who's this girl that we're talking about?
I made my beautiful daughter Anastasia come out here while she's still doing her makeup. She's
Hold
not
on.
happy.
Can we start this over?
Why does he
what?
look at her like that?
He what? He made her. He must. I'm sorry. I misheard. This is where he says she made me film her for this video, right?
Yes.
Because she's not being exploited. Let me hear the phrasing here.
Everyone catch his look too. He looks his daughter up and down like a piece of meat. My God.
I
It's
made
like
my
Trump
beautiful
talking
daughter.
about Ivanka.
It is. It's exactly like that.
I made my beautiful daughter Anastasia come out here while she's still doing her makeup. She's not happy about this, but I need to go downstairs and watch.
I made her come down. She's not happy about this. Gee, where did these nasty, hateful commenters get the audacity to suggest, John, I'm with you, buddy. Where did these sons of bitches, and they always look for anything, where do these people get off suggesting that you're making her do this?
baby, show those trolls your tan line so they can make fun of that later. I mean, this guy,
Oh, you're not
playing both
dressed
sides.
yet? Perfect.
Oh, goddamn.
I want you the end of the first Final Four game. I put $1,000 on Florida. I haven't even looked at the score. I think it's almost done, so cross your fingers. Listen, Stage, you having a good time today?
Yes.
Yeah, you up or down on the trip?
Down.
Not good. Not good.
Dad, when we go to the Dad, I really appreciate you bringing me to the Bahamas, but will you make me one promise? Can we bet on Houston basketball when we're down there? Please. Can I watch the Final Four? Pretty please.
I don't know, there's a lot of sort of weird hypersexuality going on between these two that should not be going on.
Oh,
between these two.
you're one of these haters. You belong in the comments section. You're one of these ugly monsters who can't see the beauty in a father-daughter. I mean, this is classic father-daughter.
Are you up or down, daughter? Down, daddy.
This is just a man bringing his daughter to school. There's nothing more wholesome than this.
It's a strip club school.
Stage, you having a good time today?
Yes.
Yeah, you up or down on the trip?
Down.
Not good. Not good. Let's count these out together, honey. It's a $25,000 chip. It's
All
called a
right,
pumpkin.
you're the
One
counting
pumpkin?
bimbo for the weekend. Come on, do your job.
What are two worth, honey?
50.
25, 50.
75. 100. 125.
Boy, she sounds so excited to be
150.
partaking in this.
Yes. She barely got dressed to get down here, Mike. Barely.
That's how John wanted it.
Yes. He hides all her clothes. All right, time to do a live. Dad's wearing my clothes. Oh, don't worry about it. Get over here.
What if it's filled with chocolate?
160.
60.
What is that? 1,000? 161.
161. But guys, you think that's good news? We're actually out 225 grand in markers right now. So that means we still got work to do. However, we're heading the right direction and we're going to keep going, right, honey?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Good to teach your
Wish
daughter.
us luck.
It's good to teach your daughter. I'm down hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm going to keep digging this hole. I brought my shovel with me for a reason.
My God, I didn't catch all the nuance between them here. That is just kind of gross, Mike. It's kind of gross.
And listen, like, I get it. I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's nothing weird going on with his daughter. He's probably a fine dad. It seems like they have a nice. They went on vacation together. I'm sure they have an okay relationship. But the balls to get mad at the chat for having the reaction you're having.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll say I'll take the other side and say I think you're wrong. I bet he's an okay dad. But to call you crazy for having that take, he's putting this out there. This wasn't a camera surreptitiously planted in his hotel room. He's filming this and putting it out there.
She's in a new dress. This one's called Fatherly Teaching.
And by the way, I wouldn't even, to John, if you're watching, I wouldn't have played these videos because I think it's weird that you put your daughter on your Instagram. So I'm not looking to promote that really. Until you made a video where you're like, these people on the internet are just disgusting. What they have insinuated. How dare they think that? When you make those claims, then it's just my job to point out the ridiculousness of how you think anyone wouldn't come to that conclusion.
Also, Mike, proof's in the pudding. The videos on Instagram with his daughter in it get twice the amount of views.
Oh, is that right?
I mean, deny that, John Cerasani. I mean,
it's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's the same bullshit. Every clip, and then there's a smoke show in one, and it's double the views.
Yeah.
What is that about?
Pesky coincidence.
All right, see that girl behind me, everybody? That
Yes, we
is
do.
well, that's not my daughter.
Well,
That's my daughter in the
It's
green
another
dress.
piece of ass.
Anyhow, she learned a very valuable lesson tonight. And that's when Dad is trying to walk away from the table down a little bit. What was the suggestion you made, Stage?
To play two hands instead of walking away from the table.
Yeah, was that a good idea?
No.
How bad of an idea was it, Stage?
Like 100 grand worth.
These are good values he's teaching her.
My God.
These are good. Say what you will about her. Listen, they're in the Bahamas. She's going to be. I'm sure it's very warm down there. She's going to be dressed to the weather. I understand that, but at least he's teaching her something she can use, and that is how to lose your money in blackjack.
Yes, she she's gonna be a monster, man. She's to be taught by John Cerasani and be kind of like a specimen like that on this planet. Oh my God, watch out, watch out.
Well,
Stay clear.
I hope the reality is unlike what John thinks. I suspect she did not want to be in her daddy's videos. And typically you think your parents are losers no matter what they do. You know what I mean? Whoever we think is the coolest celebrity, their kids probably think they're fucking dorks. So that's the hope this girl has, is that she's like, oh God, my dad always had his phone out and was filming me. I don't want any part of that life. That's what I hope for this young lady, is that she sprints away from social media.
I doubt it. No,
I know.
that's-
I know.
that one's gonna be-
I'm living in a fantasy world. I understand.
She's going to take over media. We have a few super chats here.
Can I,
Let's get to
did you happen to have the caption of that last post?
Or
no, it's this one I wanted, right?
Yeah, it's the next one.
It's the next one I want. So this is
correct.
this is unrelated to the John Cerasani stuff we're talking about. He posted this. He posted this. Me and Carl have some digging to do. Because you know this show?
Yeah, so I watched TV in the aughts, and there was a show called Eliminate, where a girl or a guy would go on a date with multiple people and eliminate them at the end of the show. So what we're watching here is the end of Eliminate in 2001, and one of the contestants is
John Cerasani.
Cerasani.
So it sounds like for kids, maybe kids, but people a little closer to my age, sounds like next for my generation.
Correct. Yes. And so what we're going to hear first is the lady's going to kick off like the guy she didn't like.
Yes.
And then she's going to go with Prince Charming, and you will not believe who this Prince Charming is.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Someone's going to stay with me and someone's going to lose, you know? And God, this is just really, really hard. But you seemed a little bit anxious to move to second base and to take the next date to a higher level, where you seem to want to get to know me a little bit more and to make sure that we knew each other before anything went a little bit further. And that's going to make you a winner, and that's going to make you the second place. No, you just really seemed anxious to...
I thought we totally made a connection. I was totally into her, and I thought she was into me as well. I was very surprised by her decision.
John won because he was a lot of fun, and he was more concerned with making sure that I had fun.
You're a nice guy and stuff.
He's a nice guy, Mike. By the way, this was posted on John Cerasani's page. He posted this himself. So
Yes.
that's why
This would
it's
be a
edited.
thing I'd be like, oh, I hope no one ever finds this.
And with making sure that I had fun.
Scott, you're a nice guy and stuff, and you know what? It was fun being around you, but don't act like an obnoxious leech on your dates, all right, man? I gave him maybe a half hour on the next date, and then Nancy will really start to regret that she missed
So
out on
he's
that.
always wanted to be. He acts like
he's going in for a kiss there.
He acts like I worked hard and made my money, and then I accidentally fell into this influencer thing. He's always wanted to be a celebrity, an influencer,
2001,
whatever.
yeah. Decades now. That's
Can
been
you
his
can you
goal.
read the caption that was along with this comment? That's what really made me want to pull it.
Yes. So winners win is the last. Winners win, pal. Is the last. Winners win.
Winners win.
Yeah. So he saw that and he had to title the end of that. 20 years later. Hey, winners win, pal.
The idea that you would brag about winning Eliminate a quarter century ago. We might have to find that full episode. So if anyone knows where we can grab that, please let me or Carl know.
Winners win, pal. So he's also, I think, claiming that he probably hit that. He probably hit that nice Asian lady.
And now they're bringing back Eliminate so that John's followers can date his daughter. And John is sponsoring the program.
Well, I might have to sign up for the show.
I was going to say, Casey will be entering that.
Going on leave. Do you like old men? No? Okay, fine. All right. Blind Mike, we have a few super chats here.
Let's hear.
$2 from Rockaby 2002. Cirasani giving off Steven Tyler vibes. Very much so.
In what way?
Hanging out with his daughter. He hung out with Liv Tyler a lot.
Oh,
It's just gross.
okay. All right.
Yeah, it's like, let's do a sleepover with all your friends.
Yeah, that's the other creepy thing. It's John and all these young 21-year-old girls.
Yeah, and he's just handing around $25,000 cash. It's 1 a.m. at the casino in Jamaica. I mean, come on. You know, there's a
That's
party going
weird.
on.
Where I would be like, if they were 15 or whatever, I'd be like, oh, good. Her dad's going to be there. If they're all 21,
No, it's bad.
I'd be like, what the fuck?
One of those girls is like, oh my God, your dad's so hot. You know what's going on there. You know, the
Why?
dad is...
Yeah, why is he going?
I'm not going to answer that, Mike. Matthew Rowley, $2. We get the Opie of Carl and Mike, said with love. Oh, hell, thanks.
Hey.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Carl is Anthony of the two of us? That's devastating.
That is a lie. That's a lie. Take it back right now.
He does steer the ship, though. So maybe I'm Norton.
Wasn't that Opie? Opie was the
That's what I'm saying.
steerer.
Carl, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Carl steers
Yeah.
the ship. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're the comedy relief, and I'm the tard that comes with characters. I guess.
Sure.
All
You're
right,
E-Rock.
Micah. Oh, thanks. E-Rock's a nice guy. Ready for some Stut Joe?
Oh yeah, we'll touch on this briefly because I know a lot of people. I did find it interesting, and like I said, I was going to say it was going to be a joke because I'm not like upset about it, but I was going to make a joke that these guys are doing this dabble house all weekend. John's run away. He waved the white flag. He gave up, and they're going to spend a whole week lambasting the guy. And then John, in classic Melendez fashion, made the most bizarre video today. Did you watch that?
I did. Well, yes, it was. Yeah, like 5 times because it just looped. but
Right.
yes.
It was. So it's a loop of John being like. So they have these Kate Meany tapes, and John was like, "Oh, you're in for it now, shitwear. You don't know what you just stepped in. I recorded a video of myself where I said I'm gonna lie to Kate Meany, not realizing that like. And listen. I don't think Kate should be recording John, and I'm sure we'd all have embarrassing moments if you recorded all of our private phone calls, especially if we were trying to get laid or whatever. I'm sure we would all sound very douchey. But John is acting as if he can control the narrative. And like when he gets mad at Kate or reveals things about his family or whatever, that all that's null and void because he made some video where he's holding up today's newspaper.
It's a Michael Scott scheme. These people and their Michael Scott schemes, man.
Yeah, so that was crazy. But I figured this is a video it's the type of video we would talk about on Who Are These Socials. So I figured I'd talk about it quickly. I don't think John getting pulled over was that embarrassing, but there were a couple of things I found funny about it. And everyone was posting. I think this is from Doom, right? Our good friend
Correct.
Doom.
Thank you so much,
So
Doom.
Doom's Paya had this. I think Cardiff Electric. Thank you, Cardiff. You're a great man. I think Cardiff had it. So thank you to all those people for posting it. But these are some quick clips from John's roadside excursion back a few months ago.
And Cardiff Electric back on YouTube at Cardiff Elect. Make sure you get over there.
Oh, go follow Cardiff Electric. Yeah. Is he doing shows yet?
Yep. Yeah, I saw him.
Good.
And, he did a Chad Zumach show. He did another show. So he's back. He's
good. Go follow Cardiff. That's good.
Yeah, YouTube missed him. It was a rough time without the.
Very much.
Hi there, Officer Carroll with Cape Coral Police. We just pulled you over. Your tag expired 6 months ago.
Yeah, I
Any
just moved here
reason-
from California. I got to go to the DMV. I just got my Florida driver's license.
So 6 months ago. Any reason why we didn't renew it?
Oh, I just got here. I was in California.
That's great. I just got here. I just got here, as if it's like
my first day of work.
As if it's a party, and they're like, "Hey, John, you had a drink yet?" I just got here. What do you got on ice?
What's free?
California, I drove from.
Sir, so listen to me.
Yeah.
Back in April, when you were in California,
Yeah.
why didn't you renew your registration?
I wasn't asked to yet. I didn't get it.
Now, Casey, you know I have vision problems, and therefore I've never been able to drive.
Okay.
So could you tell me the process of when your license expires? When you go into the DMV, do they have the banners already hanging, and are the strippers just there, or do they present that as a kind more of like a surprise party that they throw, where you walk in and you're like, "Hello, is anybody here?" And then they're like, "Oh, we got you, you son of a bitch! Come here, expire your license."
No, what John's describing is in California, you just wait at your house, and then Renew Rob knocks on your door, and he's like, "Hey, John, time to renew. I'm from the DMV office of the government. Time to renew, buddy. Get down there. Here, you need
Hop
the
on,
address?"
John. He's in a motorcycle, and his sidecar is empty. He's like, come on in.
Yeah, nope, that doesn't happen. California wants you to fail.
You've been cordially invited.
Black tie event.
Is this like how Facebook was back in the day before everyone had it? Where you had to be like, it was only like certain schools had it and you had to get an invitation. It was very exclusive. That's what renewing your drive. No one invited me.
He just looks so pickled too. He's never looked worse, Mike. Never, ever, ever.
Can someone send me a driver's license invite so I can get on the road? I think that'd be fun. We'd make some good content out of that.
Yeah.
The thing in the mail yet?
You don't have to.
All right, but usually I'll get
License and registration.
He's befuddled. The cop was befuddled by that.
Okay. See your California registration.
I'm trying to see if I can add something.
I mean, that's sitcomish. Like, the only way to make that more cartoonish, sitcomish, whatever, is if John, like, what fell out of there were like, like a pizza box falls out, like there's just a boot, like there's just wacky items that fall out of John's glove compartment.
Just cans of Whippets just roll out of there.
Just empty Michelobes and.
No, it's a 2014 Toyota.
The wrong car.
I got so many registrations in here. Who can keep track?
He's really a tard, isn't he?
This is another. I'm not well versed in this world. You got to explain it to me. Do you move your registration between vehicles?
No, it's in the vehicle you're driving, supposedly.
I'm getting the BMW. Let me bring my Toyota registration with me.
I bring all my registrations for all my vehicles in every vehicle. Why? Why do you do that?
No, I have it somewhere. Could be in my trunk. Okay, go in my trunk.
No, you're not going to get out of the car.
Okay. Could be in my trunk.
All right, John, I'll be back.
Oh, my God.
And honestly, I felt bad for John when I saw this video because I was like, this poor bastard. He can't even get pulled over by the cops without having us find it, you know? Which, by the way, is that always just public record like that? You can just find anyone get pulled over? That's pretty crazy.
You have to request it from that police department, which I'm sure Cardiff is really good at. But yes, it's public property. The tape for body cams are public property, unless deemed by a court like set aside for a case or something.
So I felt bad for John when I saw it because I was like, that's shit. You can't just have a private, embarrassing moment. And then he makes videos like he did today. But you say it all the time, where John makes you question your own moral line. Where you're like, God damn it, I can't defend this guy even if I want to.
John might be the reason you go to heaven or hell. How you deal with John, like this thing that just floats through the universe, and how you deal with it determines your fate. A test. This one's called Bad Memory.
Oh, this is a good one. Where John's like, am I new to fly? I don't remember.
All right, sir. Who's that back?
What? No, I'm just talking to my friend. He's a cop out here.
So
that was. Oh boy, that's very subtle, John.
Jesus Christ.
I was just I can't believe. I got to give John credit for this. I can't believe he went the route of like, oh, my friend's a cop out here. Sorry, you caught me talking to my friend, the police chief. Yes, no, I know you're his boss, but go easy on him. Hello, Mr. Mayor. How are you? But I can't believe John didn't go the route of.
Do you know who I am?
Oh, geez. Jackie Martling's calling me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I can't believe he didn't find some. Oh, geez, this is one of my Tonight Show keychains. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, Leno's calling me about the car again.
So I gotta give him credit for that. I would have bet all my GG33 money that John was a "Do you know who I am" guy. So that's a small victory for John.
Well, if you're talking about decision making, well, he decided to call someone and say, "Oh, will you do me a favor? I got a police guy. You got to help me out."
No, don't fire him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's better, but not really.
It's not much better. But you got to take your wins where you can find them with this guy.
Degrees with this guy. I get it.
All right, so this here is a citation for having an expired tag. In a couple days, it's going to be more than 6 months. Okay? The reason why that's significant is because you get pulled over twice, and it could actually become criminal. All right? So, back when you got pulled over in April, you should have
breaking the law.
Been told that your tag expired back then.
Oh, I got pulled over in April?
Yeah, you got a ticket.
For what? I don't remember.
Do I need to put you in for a driver's re-exam?
John is me, like when I didn't do my assignment in school. Where I'm like, that was due today? Are you sure you told us that was to? Jeez, I gotta tell you, I swear I've written down in my assignment book here next Wednesday. I'm so sorry. Can I have till next Wednesday? I could probably get it in tomorrow if I have to, but can you just not mark me late on this? Like, that is John. I empathize with this as a child. Like that's where my empathy goes. Is like if I saw a child in this state, I'd be like, I've been there, brother. But John, literally, that's how John gets out of jams, where he's like, I shot the clerk. I got pulled over. What do you? Gee, I don't remember that.
My blood was at the scene. What?
And when he did shows with like Carl and Shuley and Bob Levy and all that when he first came back, he can just yell over them and be like, I don't even remember what you're talking about. You know what I mean? And like we all know that, but John can, in his mind, steamroll them and just get out of the argument. But with a cop, it's very funny to watch him try that and know, like, all right, this guy's not buying it. Whoops. I guess I gotta pay this ticket.
Have you ever weighed shit, Mr. Officer?
Oh, I got pulled over in April?
Yep, you got a ticket.
For what? I don't remember.
Do I need to put you in for a driver's re-exam?
That's where he's like, okay, well, if you really don't remember, that's concerning, and we might have to take your license from you. And John's like, no, you know what? My memory's starting to get a little less fuzzy. Now
things are clearing up now.
No,
You don't remember? That's only 6 months ago, sir.
Yeah, I know. Well, I just moved here.
Well, I understand that. So you should remember that you just moved here.
Okay.
However, back in April, you got pulled over for doing...
I just moved here. Who can remember, with all the chaos of moving, who can remember getting pulled over?
66 miles an hour and opposed to 50 over here on Burnt Store.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
I've lived places less than 6 months. I subletted an apartment for 4 months. So, like, the idea that John's like, I just moved here, as if that would mean, like, just moved here would be a week, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where, like, you're not settled in yet or anything. Things may be a little chaotic. You don't get to go. And by the way, he owned the home for like a year more than that.
Correct.
So in no world did he just get here. And it's funny because in the video, the cop's like, well, you've been here at least 6 months that I know of. And if he looked into it, it would be more than that. So It was very funny to see John in his own element. And what's always interesting to me, I said the same thing when Kevin Brennan got pulled over and that video or audio, whatever came out. What's amazing to me is these guys are, to some extent, you think like it's an act. You know, they're putting on a character for their shows. Like, well, sure, maybe they're a little mentally ill, but they're trying to be entertaining, even though we don't find it entertaining. We find it mockable. But in their mind, and in Kevin's case, like to his audience, he is entertaining. And then you see these instances when they should be at their politest. You know what I mean? Like in this instance, you would think John would be on his best behavior, and he's still like, what? Sorry, I got fucking pill bottles falling out of my glove compartment here. Like, he's just the same mess he is on air. So, John, I wanted to defend you today, and you didn't let me.
You really hit on something because this was like more what John didn't say or what excuses he didn't use than the ones he did use, right? Because I've heard rumors that he's like teaching down there or working down there. If he was working down there, he would have told the officer, well, the reason I work at the school. He would have dropped everything that he's doing in his life to get out of it. He's not doing anything. Mike. He has nothing to like.
That's
say
interesting. Although maybe because he's a teacher, he doesn't want to bring that up. You know,
he's in that moment. He's not thinking about the body cam leaking or anything like that. He's trying to get out of a ticket. He's on the phone with another cop saying, "Oh, you get me out of this? That doesn't look good either."
I don't know his badge number. It hasn't gotten that bad yet.
Yeah, that is some crazy shit. All right, a few super chats here, Mike, about the Stuttering John. A weird comment with two. I think that's €1. The cop never asked, "Have you been drinking?" That is the amazing thing of the whole thing. That
Well, he doesn't
looks drunk.
seem. Oh, does he?
He looks it like, but it's Florida, so I guess.
Yeah, that's probably just your typical Floridian. Honestly, he probably just thinks it's like some crazy guy, you know? Like,
yes.
So maybe some drunk, but not a guy who's actively drunk, you know?
Yeah, probably. He thinks he's probably like some guy just high on Klonopins.
He's on the way to the bar. Yeah,
he's that too. Rockerby 2002, $5. Funny how SJ remembered doing musicals in elementary school, but he couldn't remember a ticket he got 6 months prior.
Jeez, was that me or was that some? You sure that wasn't the dues payer that got pulled over? I think it might have been him.
Selective memory is amazing on these guys. Here's another guy that has a selective memory, Mike. One Opster.
Oh yeah, so I talked about half of what we're about to play. I was on one of Carl's bonus episodes the other day, so I did broadcast with Carl this week, guys. If you missed the me and Carl magic, I was on his Patreon on Tuesday, so go check that out. We broke down the Opie and Jim fight, but from years back. But we did talk about this a little bit. But what's interesting is Opie also talked about the Dabbleverse. This is something Opie has tried for a long time to avoid, and actually did a good job at. Like never really gotten in the mud the way Stuttering John did. Like when we talk about John or some of these other people, well, John in particular, because we did an episode about it on Why You Laughing, where my theory was always if John didn't say. This no-name loser podcast talked about me. We're contacting our lawyers. Whatever he said the first time. If he never addressed WATP, there's a good chance they may have never talked about him again. Like I know Carl says like the show is so bad, and he had a connection to Stuttering John in the way that he was a Howard Stern fan. So maybe he would have checked back in at some point. But I really believe that if John either never acknowledged it, or played around with it a little bit, there's probably no Dabbleverse. And Opie is opening that same can of worms. Opie made it 7 years of avoiding WATP and the Dabbleverse and all that. But here he is, leaping headfirst, finally.
Dabbler, third funniest on O&A after Ant and Jim. You or Sam? Oh, shut your stupid mouth.
I gotta say, that's not a ridiculous question. You know what I mean? And for me, like, if someone said, like, hey, after Kirk, who's the funniest on the show? You, Dave, or Justin, meaning me, I wouldn't be like, shut the fuck up. How fucking dare you? You know what I mean? Like, Opie just doesn't know his place on that show comedically. Now, I guess Opie's insulted because he was the host and Sam was an intern when he started. So Opie's taking that as an insult. I think most people would say Sam in a landslide. So the idea that Opie takes that with like, oh, you motherfucker, how dare you? Like, honestly, Anthony and Norton wouldn't address that question that way. If they said, hey, Anthony, who was funnier on the show, you or Sam Roberts? Anthony wouldn't go, you motherfucker. How dare, you know what I mean? Like, I think he'd have an obvious answer. I don't think he thinks he's less funny than Sam, but he'd have a little more fun with it. The idea that Opie gets that angry shows you how insecure he is about it. And like I said, for good reason, that's not a crazy question. In fact, the answer is Sam.
Or Sam? Oh, shut your stupid mouth. I'll take your $1.99 and I will put you in the good old timeout. All right.
They're getting kicked out for that?
Yes. He took their money and timed them out.
Go ahead. Ask guys in the chat. Ask me. Super chat me. And compare me to whoever you want. Hey, Mike, are you funnier than this person? I don't give a fuck. What a crazy thing to be mad about. How
blocked for 24 hours. How dare you?
Hey, Mike, are you funnier than Craig? Oh, Casey, block this guy. Get rid of this asshole.
Dabbler, I'd like to hear your response to Patrick Melton discrediting your career, saying you accidentally fell into a radio.
Well said. Way to address these head on.
He saw WATP in the super chat and his brain just broke. I'm not going to read up to that word. No.
Like, so I've always, if we don't get many super chats on this show, the Blind Mike Project, which is why I read them. Like, if they took 40 minutes of the show, I would just say to you guys, hey, keep an eye out for really good ones or relevant ones, but we're not sitting here for 40 minutes and reading super chats. That's just crazy. So I've always, like, I've thought about that process. What I wouldn't do is have you read every super chat and go, Casey, come on, hurry up. Just blab through them and move on. Just disrespect the people watching the show and who gives a fuck about them. Like, why would you read it if you're going to go, yeah, yada, 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 who gives a fuck, whatever. Yeah, you motherfucker.
It's not interaction, Opie. You can interact, my God.
Yeah, or don't.
Yeah,
or you know what I mean? Like, or don't read the shit. You also don't need to.
Yeah. Like, all right. I don't respond to any of those people. They've literally done nothing. They've literally done nothing with their own careers, and they're attacking me. I do know this Melton guy. He looks
what's
like
amazing about
Earthquake.
this, Casey? I know you're not an Opie and Anthony fan. I don't know if you know enough about them to know this, though. What they predicated themselves on. When people would come back and say, like, these type of things is like, oh, this Opie and Anthony, this who gives a fuck show. Like, people would say that stuff about Opie and Anthony. Or they would say, hey, why are you picking on us? We're just a little show that we're minding our own business. And Opie in particular would not just laugh at that, but get, like, indignant about it. And go, oh, we've heard this from so many radio guys. He didn't have that voice back then. Back then, he talked like a human being. But I'm putting the current Opie cadence on it, where he's like, I've heard this from so many radio guys. Radio people are all the same. And Opie has proven they absolutely are. Radio people are the same. And Opie is more of a radio guy than anyone I've ever seen. He's exactly like the rest of them.
That's a Imholt defense. That's where I've seen that one before, where it's just, I'm not going to just discuss the point. I've been doing this longer. Daddy's hair is longer, so I'm smarter. Right. That's so annoying.
I like to call him Tugboat. I've never heard a minute of his show. And out of nowhere, because I think what happens is these guys don't have a lot of material. So the easiest thing to do is attack somebody. So he's
as a fan of this guy and his fucking show for so long. Didn't have any material. That was every day on Opie and Anthony. Every day there would be some drama that Opie could pick at that Sam and Travis prepared because Opie didn't want to do any work. Like, Opie never had material and still doesn't to this day. There was, like, when Jim and Sam started, Opie would say this about Jim and Sam, where he's like, I put in so many hours for that show and did all the prep and blah, blah, blah. And Sam said, you know who did the prep for Opie and Anthony? It was Sam. Like, there was no Opie staying late and doing prep work or coming in with topics in the morning. He just didn't do it. The idea that he's criticizing people for all this stuff is so wild to me. And it is, if I had the producing skills to put together this compilation, I'd love to. Maybe there already is one out there. But I would think it would be somewhat easy for an Opie and Anthony fan that knows where to find this stuff to put together Opie beefing with other radio shows and all the stuff he says, and now saying the complete antithesis when he's on his own.
Mike, I think he's got great material. That Tugboat, calling Patrick Melton a Tugboat, that's a winner. That's going to stick.
I don't get that. Is that a reference I'm not understanding?
No, I guess because tugboats are... I have no idea. It's just the look inside his comedy brain, I think.
Oh, and by the way, to your earlier point, like, we get this a lot too, where, excuse me, sometimes people that don't know the show, don't know what we usually talk about, the video pops up in their algorithm and we're making fun of Brendan Schaub or Chris D'Elia or whoever. And we'll get a comment that's like, oh, these guys are jealous of Chris D'Elia. and they think that's why we're talking about him. And it's like, no. Chris D'Elia has a much bigger show than this. Like, it's not even close. Chris D'Elia's show is way bigger than mine. It's to the point where I've never even mentioned that. Why would I? That'd be silly. That doesn't change my critique of the show. Like, me making fun of Chris doesn't have anything to do with the success of anyone's show. It's mockable. And if people think that of this show, they're welcome to do that. Break down the dumb things that I say and make fun of me for stammering or whatever. They can do that. The idea that you have to be of some level of success to make fun of someone, like, so is Opie suggesting you have to punch up after all these years? Is he like, hey, you have to punch up in this business? Actually, no, wait. Even that wouldn't make sense. He's saying you have to punch down, I guess, right?
I think
none of it makes sense.
Well, it's because it's hard to determine where he is, because he was at one point high, so is he punching down? But his views are like around Jake Hudson, so is he punching up? It's very confusing. Also, I'm being told Mike Tugboat was a wrestler shaped like Patrick Melton. So that's in the chat. They got us. So.
Wow, I got to tell you this. I'm impressed that Opie had a reference of any
It's a reference. Yeah.
That's a reference. Like, that's point Opie on that one.
He did it. Good job, Opie.
Yeah.
Attacking me. I did nothing to the guy. I don't know the guy. I've never watched his shit. And they're attacking me in my stupid career. And the fact is, like, what career do you have? When it's all said and done, when you spend the next couple of years with a live stream where all you do is attack other people, and then, that fades away.
I'll address this. Carl's done it for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I think Melton's done it for like 15 or 20.
Yeah, a lot longer.
When we talked about, we did the Why You Laughing episode of Dan Ninen, we used Patrick Melton clips interviewing Dan Ninen from like a decade ago. Maybe more. So like, maybe these people are unsuccessful. They've unsuccessfully stuck at it for a long time.
Unsuccessfully paid bills for decades.
Yeah.
Because that's not trendy anymore. What are you going to have to show for your career? That's what I asked those people today. For real, what do you have to show for it? You're not going to buy a second house. You're going to like be struggling
Carl
with your
did,
bills.
right?
Yes. He got
Which, by the way, I don't think is the I don't think that's the reason to podcast.
No, but these guys just look at their scorecard and they're like, what do I have good on my scorecard? That's what you don't have. That's the things that matter. It's like, no, that's just what matters to you, these extra houses and nonsense. You're a terrible broadcaster.
That's an embarrassing. And listen, here's what's interesting about guys like Opie or any of the other, John Cerasani or any of the other people we cover. I don't think any of us are above saying the stuff that they say. In a moment where your back is against the wall, and you just blurt out something that's so insanely out of touch or narcissistic or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, if you, in a pinch, any of us are capable of embarrassing ourselves in that way. What's interesting about guys like Cirisani and Opie and Woke Dad and Stuttering John and all these people is they'll do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. And when they're shown this stuff, they don't go, oh, God. Why would I say that? Like Justin from Kirk Show always pulls up old tweets of mine and embarrasses me. And I think what I don't do is go, what have you done with your life, Justin? You prick. You don't have second house money. What I do is go, oh God, why was I like that? Like, I get embarrassed. That's what's interesting about all these guys is they have there's no shame. There's no Aaron's another great example where there's never like, oh God, I had Johnny Crutch's stand for money the other day. The fuck was I doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's never that moment of like, oof, I got too far. I lost myself. Now I'm back. There's no snapback with any of these people.
I've run into these people in the music world, Mike. They only listen to their music, and it's very disturbing. Because like they won't grab an influence from anywhere. They will only listen to their stuff. But it's not to like break it down and make it better. It's just an ego stroke.
Yeah, Aziz Ansari had a story years ago about going to Kanye West's house, and when he walked in, Kanye was bobbing his head to his own music. and goes, these beats are dope. That's what a lot of these guys are like. Where I used to say with John, I was like, oh, I wish he would play some of these tapes back so he could hear himself. And ultimately he would, because he'd get some clip from Reddit and he would be involved, and he'd listen to himself and go, yep, like agree with himself. And you're like, oh, he doesn't see it at all.
It's a blind spot. And when they see the video again, the blind spot's still there. It's amazing.
Opie, what I wonder about Opie is like, he does have a little bit of wanting people to think he's got humility. So I think more than any of the other guys I mentioned, Opie would have, like, if you showed him this tape, he would go, ugh, why did I say the second house thing? And then make the same mistake. You know? That's an interesting nuance that Opie has, where he would know that that's wrong if someone else brought it up. You know what I mean? If Vic Henley was there to bring this up to him, he would know, oh, that was gross of me, but then continue to speak the same.
You're not going to do anything impressive. And these people, they attack people like myself that actually had a career. I don't have to defend my career with anybody.
Well, Opie, how about going after Scott Shannon for 10 years? You know? Scott Shannon was a legend in radio. And by the way, and a mockable guy. But Scott Shannon had a much bigger and more impactful radio career than Opie. Pretty sure Opie got a few digs in at old Scott Shannon. How about Howard Stern? I don't know how Scott Shannon was the first name I brought up. Howard Stern would be the obvious one. We're like, so you guys weren't allowed to go at Howard Stern because you were a smaller show? What an insane take. I've listened to these guys for hours pontificate about how no one else had the balls to go after Howard the way they did. And they knew that they could make a name for themselves doing that. Opie, they're following in your footsteps. You influenced these people. Take some credit for that. Wear it as a badge of honor.
With anybody. But it is weird. It's people I've never met that I
Why is that weird? What was Jocktober, you jackass? Jocktober was every day a new show you'd never heard of, ripping them apart and having the fans go on their Facebook page and wish AIDS on them and talk about their children and call the girls on the show fat and ugly. Those were all people you never met. You didn't know Terry Clifford, you jackass.
Watch their stuff. I don't care about their stuff, and they have to attack me. I find it incredibly strange.
Oh.
I mean, my suggestion, considering I did have a massive radio career, I've said this to. Well, I'm not going to tell you who I said this to. I dipped my toes in.
Come on, don't tease us like that.
Double verse for a little bit, and then I realized that it's not for me. I don't want to spend my days turning on a live stream and just attacking other live streamers. I mean, I could do it from time to time. I'm good at it. But as far as a show doing it,
I choose not to do the things I'm best at. I'm great at that, and I'm horrible at this. So I choose to do this.
I am Michael Jordan in baseball. I'm going to go play some baseball.
He really is. He's like, I'm enjoying it with the White Sox right now.
My dad liked this sport. I must stay here.
Doesn't interest me. And there's a guy in the Dabbleverse, I won't mention his name here, who's incredibly talented. One of them is incredibly talented. And it's not it's
Blind Mike, Gary.
Yeah, I was like, Opie didn't reach out to me, did he? I suspect Tukey, maybe Cardiff.
Tom Myers.
Maybe Tom Myers. No, it's got to be Tukey or Cardiff, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. Yeah, exactly. One of those two. Or OJ. Who knows?
But they would have said it if this was true. I said maybe it's OJ. Maybe that's why OJ left. He's like, I'm starting up with Opie, I can't be seen at Hackamania.
I'd watch.
It's not the guys you just mentioned with your super chat. And I had a heart-to-heart with the guy. I go, look, man, I get the Dabbleverse. It's trendy. It's hot.
Hold on. Could it be Chad Zumock?
I'm getting Cardiff in the chat. So,
but Cardiff would say it was him, wouldn't he?
I think he. If
Maybe
I'm crazy,
he did. Maybe he did.
Yeah, I think he posted something tonight where he was But you never know with Cardiff if it's real or not.
True.
But I did see it was
But
going
yeah,
on with
I would
Opie.
if Opie is a good evaluator of talent, I would think it would be Tukey or Cardiff. But there's something about the way he's talking that made me think like, could it be Chad Zumach or someone like that?
Now his modus operandi is to find really a talented person and then leech on. So my guess is probably Rocco or Cardiff.
Yeah.
Right now, you guys go on and you beat the shit out of each other. I go, but
it's what I do too. Hi, Mike. Hi.
I told the guy, I go, it's not impressive. You're not going to get much from it in the end.
That word, no.
You're not going to get rich.
He's impressed with impressive.
You're not going to get fame from it. You'll have a little riches, a little fame in the Dabbleverse itself.
Hold on. He goes, you're not going to get rich. You're not going to get fame from it. You'll have a little riches and fame, but that's it.
Dave Sarah will know who you are.
Other than the riches and fame you get, you're not going to get rich or famous. Which, by the way...
You'll be friends with Corn Diff. It's a good place.
By the way, like, I don't think any of these people want that. Like, I don't think...
Good point.
I don't think Cardiff is podcasting under the mindset of like, okay, I get my YouTube channel back, and then Spotify calls to offer me $100 million. Like, I don't think these people are thinking that way. I think they want to just do a fun show. Even me, like I've Cardiff and Tukey like don't make this their career. They have other jobs and focuses in their life. It is my like sole focus is this job. But I'm not of the mind that like someday I'll be, Smartless podcast or something. Like I think you can do this without the idea that you're going to be Opie and Anthony circa 2001.
That's not impressive. The
we got it.
Podcasters, you're not even a blip on their radar. And I told this guy, I'm
you
like,
hear that,
you're
Tukey?
really, really talented. I said, look, I get why you're in the Dabbleverse. I get why you're doing that. But I said, don't blow off just doing a regular show.
I like in the biopic where Opie, the scene where Opie is talking to a potato with a face on it, an animatronic fucking and he's like, "There's more to life than this, Cardiff."
You got to bring back the '90s show, Cardiff.
Good at this, and I mean he's sort of doing both, I guess.
See, that's where I was like, is it Tukey or Cardiff? Because they just talk about the Dabbleverse, right?
No, they do other.
You have subreddit surfing, of course.
Right, and they have their own locales that they've found.
But I think Opie would call that Dabbleverse, no?
Yeah,
in his mind, wouldn't that be?
Yeah, he doesn't know the difference. It's all like it all looks the same to him. No one really. The Dabbleverse isn't really existing anymore. It's more called the Hackverse now, and it's like spread out into other communities. John leaving really sort of set this thing free. Yeah. So he doesn't have any idea what's going on.
Well, I think this in like terms of this show, like we talked about Stuttering John and also John Cirisani. And I think Opie would call that all Dabbleverse.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're Dabbleverse. I'm Dabbleverse. We're all
Yeah.
Dabbleverse.
Yeah.
Krager's is Dabbleverse. Everything's Dabbleverse.
But I don't, these guys, they're going to say what they have to say about me, which is weird and strange. But I don't put much weight on any of it because they, I told you, if Howard Stern's attacking me, damn. If Joe Rogan's attacking me,
you would attack
damn.
Howard Stern. You've attacked Joe Rogan. Don't you see? You've done these things.
He doesn't see.
Bill Burr, damn. I was in that arena with all those people. Will I ever be in that arena again? I don't think so, to be honest with you. I do this. I have fun doing it. I like doing it. But I'm in a much different place in my life. I'd rather spend quality time with my wife and my kids than chasing. So
I don't understand that. Well, never. He's obviously just lying. I don't know why I was going to address the point. It's like, I think you could still do the shows and have them be good shows that you do. I don't know why you'd have to spend less time with your family.
Nah, that's chasing good. I stick with mid. This next one's called Carl. It's going after our buddy.
Yeah, so this is the one me and Carl talked about the other day, but I'll play it for you fine folks that aren't on Carl's Patreon.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I don't watch this guy. Here we go.
one big reason why I don't respect, Carl, and I truly don't. I don't watch or
Hold on. I love that. I love that where he's like, I don't respect this guy, and also I've never seen a second of his content.
Let me tell you the reasons why I hate this man that I've never seen.
It would just be like just naming someone at random, like picking someone out of the chat, or just telling me who your neighbor is, and me going like, "Don't respect him." Like it's meaningless.
Yes. Here we go.
One big reason why I don't respect, Carl, and I truly don't. I don't watch or listen to any of his stuff, but I get the drift. Trust me. When I see the videos pop up and I decide not to click on.
It's impressive, Mike. What do you not get about it? Mike Carl's impressive.
I don't think it's the drift he gets.
Gets the drift, man.
Does he mean the gist?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've heard drift used kind of.
I get the drift. I don't think that's right.
Yes.
I get the drift. And the one thing that makes him insanely bad at this and insanely dishonest is that he doesn't take any shots at Anthony whatsoever. That's why you're a piece of garbage. The
Isn't
amount
that
of
like saying for years Opie didn't take shots at Anthony, right? He was in the same room as him.
They were working together. Yeah.
Opie hated his guts for so long and bit his tongue. Opie hated Jim Norton, didn't say anything about it. That's weird that Opie didn't call those guys out. And then Opie would have them, even after they fought and everyone knew they hated each other, Opie would have Anthony back on his show to get some buzz going during the election and all that shit when they would have those little reunions when Opie was still on Sirius. So it's weird that Opie's so mad at Carl for not calling out Anthony. But the other thing is, like, I never get that, where it's like, why don't you make fun of, for me, maybe it would be like, why don't you make fun of Shane Gillis? It's like, oh, well, I'm a fan of his, so why would I? And then there's in Opie's mind, it would be like, then you're biased. It's like, yeah, I make fun of the people I find mockable.
Yeah.
And I don't make fun of the people I think are really talented. And by the way, like if Shane did something that was worth mocking, we would talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that crazy.
You know that Zeppelin song you really like? Why don't you boo during it? I like it. What are you asking me?
Material. If your whole show is to go after other people trying to do this, the amount of material that you have on Anthony, and you avoid all of it, that means you're garbage.
So that is, I told
garbage.
Carl this the other day. That is not because Opie thinks Anthony does a bad show. He wants Carl to call Anthony a racist and a pedophile. Which is like, again, Opie didn't do that and worked right next to the guy. So why is the onus on some stranger to suddenly take that torch? Like, Opie sat next to him for 20 years and never said any of those things. And Opie likes to act like Anthony suddenly got racist when he got fired. It's like, go back and listen to the Opie and Anthony show from, I'll say, November of 2008. Pick some episodes around that. Around the time Obama got elected. I would suggest listening to that show and see if Anthony would ever go on racially charged rants or political rants or anything like that. Listen to Anthony's conversations with Patrice O'Neill. Again, I'm not even saying he's a racist. I'm saying listen to those conversations and tell me if they're remarkably different from shows Anthony would do now. But Opie likes to make it seem like people should be calling him out now, even though Opie was silent about this for 20 fucking years, when Anthony's the exact same guy.
Garbage. That's why I would never respect someone like that. Ugh, God, no. How does one go about being successful in the Dabbleverse? Well, you get a live stream, and you make it look very, very professional. And that will hide the fact that you don't have much content.
Ooh.
And then you just go down a laundry list of other people live streaming, and you find shit about them and beat the crap out of them. That's it. That's the Dabbleverse. That's it in a nutshell. That's all it is.
Another thing interesting about the Opester is that he thinks this what we're doing right now, or what Carl does, or what Patrick Melton's been doing, that's like that's beating the crap out of him. You would think Opie and Anthony back in the day, if a twerp like Carl made fun of them, you'd think that show would be able to squash him in 2 seconds. And now Opie's doing the thing of like, oh, they're beating up on me. I'm the little guy and they're kicking me around. Well, which is it, Opie? Are they unsuccessful people that have never done anything, or are they beating the shit out of you unprovoked for no reason?
It's both. Whatever works for him.
Oh, good. Isn't that convenient?
Yeah. Yes. Hypocrite police shirt, please.
And and the funny thing is, the whole concept is based on one of our huge benchmark bits from the Opie and Anthony show, and that would be Jocktober. They're all just.
That's the greatest. So they're all hacks. Everything they do is shitty and unnecessary and nasty and bad content. And also, it's exactly what we did. Also, they're completely influenced by me, and it's all terrible.
It's the worst thing ever done in broadcasting, but we did it first. Okay.
Yeah.
What? All right, Mike, we got one super chat here, then we'll get over to the wokest of all dads. Matthew Rowley, $2. I just moved here. My memory hasn't arrived yet. That's a good one.
Thank you, Matthew.
What we're waiting for. Yeah, so it's time for Woke Dad. Now, it sucks that we don't have the Woke Dad song, because that's actually the one I really like. But
it is a shame.
We have Woke Dad. Yes.
That is one jingle I would like, but alas, we soldier on. I saw right before we started this show, Carl sent me an email about Daniel Alexander, aka Woke Dad. I have not gotten a chance to read it yet. I figure we'll do it with Carl next week. But he may have some information on our friend Daniel Alexander, I believe it's involving his coffee truck. So instead of the art studio, we're talking about the coffee truck next week. So keep an eye out for that. But for now, we'll be talking about our old friend Dan, who, again, I'm worried we're running him off the internet a little bit. Now, he's still posting. He's still posting, but it's all politically driven. And I worry that our attention to Dan Alexander has alerted him to the fact that we all think his stories are bullshit.
He's watching his own tape.
He doesn't talk about the art studio because he knows we'll call it a scam, and
or worse.
And he doesn't talk about interactions he has with people anymore because he knows that we'll call them lies. And so he hasn't been posting a lot of those. But never fear, I went back through the archives and found some classic Dan for us. But first, we'll talk about Daniel in real time and what he's been up to this week.
So this is kids protesting? Is that the that's?
Yeah, these are the type of videos he's talking about now, where it's all just on his soapbox talking about what a hero he is, and it's all just political horseshit.
I had to double check because he looks a little heavier, Mike. He looks. I thought this was from the past, but maybe he's just eating a little.
Well, good for him.
Not everybody might agree with this, but I would never bring my kids to a protest. I mean, it isn't because I don't understand the importance of protests. It absolutely isn't because I don't want to teach my kids about safely and peacefully protesting. It's because I care about those kids more than anything, and their safety means everything to me, and I would never put them in a place of potential risk.
I don't want everyone to be outraged here, but I actually wouldn't bring my children to an abortion rally. I know that's going to ruffle some feathers. Listen, I might get kicked off this platform for saying such a wild thing, but I actually don't think fucking women with fake period blood on them is the place to bring my child. Well, women in pussy hats marching around. Maybe I shouldn't bring my kids there.
It'd be fun for painting. Just bring red paint and do some. All right.
Listen, I know you guys are going to get mad at this. I'm not going to have my kids protest the war in Ukraine. And call me a bad dad if you want. But I'm just saying, these are my morals, and I'm sticking to them.
When I listen to people who have been fighting these battles for decades, generations, hundreds of years, they're people in the black community, they're black voices, they're black women, and I'm not going to ignore their experience when they say, a protest is no place for a bounce house. It's because they mean it, because
Is that
they
just
know.
black people that say that? Is that is that a black stereotype?
I've seen T-shirts. I don't know, in some communities, you know.
The amount of jokes I've heard. God damn, if Anthony Cumia tweets again about how black people don't want kids at protests, it's enough already. We get it. You bigot.
If I had a nickel for every Cumia bounce house joke, I'd be the richest.
Why is that racially divided?
I don't have any idea.
You know
Because
what? Black people have finally made their point. I'll stop bringing my children to the Palestine March.
I'll sell their little white.
Thank you,
scarves.
African Americans, for making that point.
No, black ladies. Not all of them, Mike. It's the black ladies.
Oh, I got you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They have that experience now. I did want my kids to be involved, so I tasked them with something that I think is pretty cool. I wanted them to make some protest signs for us to carry, but I didn't want them to make protest signs that directly impacted them. I tasked them with making protest signs about communities that they don't belong to, because
That's
I really
cool,
want
man.
them.
It's really cool that your kids wrote in marker, "Have a brain, support Ukraine." That's a really cool thing for them. And by the way, I'm sure it's very impactful. As has been said many times, I'm sure Putin looks at TikTok videos and goes, "It seems like people aren't loving what I'm doing over here. Maybe I should cease."
Cerasani's looking like the father of the year compared to this shit.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Them to know that just because something doesn't impact you, it doesn't mean that it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that it doesn't impact other people. The world doesn't revolve around us, and even though my kids belong to diverse communities, they're still white kids, and they come.
My kids
with a bit
belong to diverse communities. What does that mean?
They're trans, Mike.
But
he has trans kids.
But all trans people are trans.
I have no idea what
Right?
you're saying. I guess.
Hold on. Let me wrap my mind around this here. We all know how woke I've gotten. I want to be an ally here.
You're at the meetings now. It's good to see you there.
So their children's are his kids. Did I say his children's? His kids are trans or non-binary or gay or whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
All trans people are trans, right? So in
believe
that
that's
way,
the definition.
in that way, the trans community is incredibly exclusionary. Actually,
Yes, it's like Japan.
in fact, every community, in the way Daniel talks, none of them are diverse. As a matter of fact, the black community is not diverse. The Asian community is not diverse. The gay community is not diverse. The gay community might be the most diverse because you could say it involves men and women of all races, right?
Yeah, I guess. Like a
Well, maybe
Ben
that's what he
White
means.
fan?
There's trans people of all races.
Okay, yeah.
So that's very unlike straight people. There are no black straights, as you well know.
Clip that.
No, my kids belong to diverse communities. They're still white kids, and they come with a bit of privilege in the end.
Oh, they come from communities where their dad's a homo. Now I get it. I'm just...
The battle that we're fighting is for all people.
Oh, good.
All people's human rights.
Oh,
So the world we're creating is theirs.
so even Republicans.
No, not that.
Damn it! We were so close to harmony.
50 or 48% of the people were totally down with. The other 52, kick rocks.
51, apparently.
Yes.
The world that they get to grow in. The world that they get to inherit. Do I want them involved? Absolutely. Do I need them safe above all else?
Ugh, that tone. Ugh.
Well, he's a
That's
hero.
into that.
Don't you
That's the
understand?
hero's tone.
That's how you speak when you're taking your flowers for being a hero.
Fair enough. I don't get flowers, so that's why I've never heard it.
But imagine this guy. Like, imagine saying to people, "I parented my kids this week, and I wanted to tell you all. I wanted to expose my back so that all of you could get a proper pat in, if you wouldn't mind."
I tasked them to do things. Ugh. I would not like
Yeah, I
that.
made them give me signs for some protest I'm going to.
Okay, is it something I care about? No. Yeah, it has to be something you don't know or care about at all. Oh, okay. And that way you will learn.
It specifically doesn't affect you, actually.
Yes, it affects you in no way. God damn. All right, this next one's called Bizarre. That's pretty bizarre, the last one, so I don't know how, but
I'm
more
trying to
bizarre it can be.
remember what this was. All right, I'll find out with you guys. I don't remember this.
If I were one of those people who decided to protest this weekend, I wouldn't bring my phone with me at all. I mean, it's way too easy for someone to hold my phone up in front of my face. It recognizes me and then unlocks everything.
I forgot
Then
about
anybody who
That's his concern.
What the fuck? Wouldn't that be true? By the way, wouldn't that be true of any public place? Why does it have to be a protest? So,
well, I think what he's saying is like, I'm going to get in a fight with cops. They're going to handcuff me, and then they're going to like take my phone away. And
let's see what you're saying on Twitter.
Yeah. God damn,
So,
man.
So in Daniel's mind, at a protest, by the way, all like-minded people, right? Like they're protesting Ukraine or Israel or whatever cause Daniel. I have a feeling I know what it is. Actually, it's the one he talks about all the time. So Daniel shows up with all like-minded people. One of these Neanderthals is going to rob him of his phone, and that's not going to be good enough. They're going to somehow subdue him so he can't fight back.
Yes.
Point the phone at his face to unlock the screen, and then do nefarious acts with it.
Yeah. They have a midget there to chop off his thumb so they can get into his bank account later. It's
What a strange
Ocean's 12 just against Daniel Alexander.
What a strange concern. And by the way, when you're around all your brethren or sisterin, whatever Daniel calls them.
you had it would have access to my emails and my contact lists and all of my social
my Grindr account
media. I wouldn't want that to happen. I'd probably just buy a prepaid phone and not load anything on it. Just have it so that if there was an emergency, I could contact somebody.
So
I mean,
Daniel's
there's
gonna buy
no
a
need to record
jitterbug
any.
so he can go down and protest with his boys.
How violent you planning to get, Daniel? God damn.
Yeah, why? Daniel's acting like these people are monsters. It's weird. It's almost like some of these protests perhaps get a little violent and out of hand.
You're not really defending your side really well, Daniel. Just letting you know.
Daniel's like, boy, I mean, I believe in this cause more than anything. But these people are rambunctious. Oh, my God. Are these savages I deal with on my side?
Greatest cause ever, but if you don't bring a 6-inch blade, they're gonna rob you blind.
They're gonna. If it's not tied down, you're losing it, my friend.
It's something to believe in, but just make sure you keep your eyes on it or it's gone.
But at what cost? Leave your wallet at home.
Freedom isn't free. Protest.
Anybody during that type of thing. Obviously, or honestly, any identifying marks for anyone who's in that scenario could get someone in trouble for doing nothing wrong. So I wouldn't want to put anybody at risk like that. Why would I want to blast anybody on a live or during social media for that? I don't think that would be good at all.
Wait,
I
what
mean,
is he saying? Can we go back a little bit? What is he saying?
I'm very confused. Almost like I thought it was like if they got someone's information off my phone, someone else who wasn't me. But it's
put anybody at risk like that. Why would I want to
back a little further?
Okay. It is convoluted. Here we're going.
I mean, there's no need to record anybody during that type of thing. Obviously, or honestly, any identifying marks for anyone who's in that scenario could get someone in trouble.
Go back further. We got to go back further.
We've got to go to the origin of this.
This is at the beginning.
Yes.
And I mean the beginning of mankind. I think this starts.
Those people who decided to protest this weekend, I wouldn't bring my phone with me at all. I mean, it's way too easy for someone to hold my phone up in front of my face. It recognizes me and then unlocks everything. Then anybody who had it would have access to my emails and my contact lists.
Sorry to interrupt again.
No, please.
Why does it have to be someone that recognizes him?
Great point.
Is that the shoe fits?
You can only rob people you recognize, Mike. Have you not heard this?
Is that celebrity barista Dan Alexander?
Is that woke dad? I'm going to steal his phone.
Is that art connoisseur of Rochester, wherever the fuck he lives? But why would you have to recognize him if, Casey, let's say you and I are going out to mug someone on the street. Mm-hmm. And we hold him down. I hold him down. You take their phone. We don't have to recognize this poor sap. Point the phone at his face and be like, this is probably your phone. So I'm going to guess it's going to face recognition will work.
That is one of the most bizarre things I've heard.
He just wanted to slip in that he's a celebrity at these little get-togethers.
What a weird place to drop that in, though. Of all the places.
And all of my social media, I wouldn't want that to happen. I'd probably just buy a prepaid phone and not load anything on it. Just have it so that if there was an emergency, I could contact somebody. I mean, there's no need to record anybody during that type of thing. Obviously, or honestly, any identifying marks for anyone who's in that scenario could get someone in trouble for doing nothing wrong. So
he's part of these. This is a violent protest he's planning. Is he Antifa?
But he doesn't. So most likely, when I go down to the protest, they're gonna mug me and try to steal my identity. And the last thing I want is to record these maniacs who are perpetrating these acts.
Yeah, if I get a tattoo of the wrong one, just my family will be gone.
Listen, I want to protect myself from being robbed at gunpoint, it seems. But I don't want to get these fellas in trouble who are doing it.
We're all on the same team here. Come on, guys.
So I wouldn't want to put anybody at risk like that. Why would I want to blast anybody on a live or during social media for that? I don't think that would be good at all. I mean, I'd probably contact my attorney in advance and let them know that there's a possibility they may be getting contacted if I were wrongfully arrested.
What is he talking about?
He is going to fight at he's going to go down like they did in the 60s. You know, he's going to get sprayed with the water can. He's going down.
At least now he's blaming the people he's supposed to be blaming. Now he's going after the cop. A minute ago, he was going after fellow protesters who were going to steal his phone for some reason. And now he's back on track now. He's like, oh, no, I forgot. The pigs are evil. I'm silly.
He's a victim to them all, Mike.
I'm super peaceful, and I would always avoid anyone in any scenario in which they were not being peaceful. But if I were wrongfully arrested, I would reserve the right to remain silent. I
like that looters and police alike. This is how divisive Daniel Alexander is. He brings everyone together. So, there's people looting, there's police trying to stop them. And when Daniel shows up at the protest, they all stop and look and go, get him! And they all unify to chase after Daniel Alexander and take his phone.
This funny cartoon music.
Dan's hat spins off his head. Zoinks!
I knew they all knew who I was. Run!
It's the shoe fits! Get him! He's probably bringing peace and serenity to our streets.
Unlock his phone, quick! Use his face.
Hey, we the looters will unlock his phone. You cops, arrest him.
What the fuck?
We'll get this bastard one way or another.
And someone steal his kid's signs that he brought to the protest for no reason.
Up. And when my attorney is contacted, well, they're the ones that could do the speaking for me. Now, I would also take their number and I would put it in permanent marker somewhere on my body, not where anybody could access it, but where...
This is making the trifold look like a great deal. Daniel Alexander's doing a lot of good business for delete laws. There's a succinct set of rules you're supposed to follow. Daniel Alexander's like, so I've sacrificed my phone. My phone is gone. My identity out the window. They've probably got all my banking information. So the phone and all my personal records, I've made peace with losing. The one thing I do have the presence of mind to keep, while I couldn't keep my phone on my person, I will have the wherewithal to grab a permanent marker that I don't know, he's placed in his sock or something. I don't know where this. He's got a permanent marker in his holster, and he's able to grab that. And while he's being arrested by these dirtbag pigs, he's writing on his wrist some number, their badge number or something.
His telephone number. It's like
his own telephone number.
Yes, so he's like, these people are so awesome. These protesters are my family. I'm also writing the city and state where I live so you can ship my body back home when you execute me at this protest. That's fucking hilarious.
But how, if he's being arrested, how does he have a free hand to write this message?
That's true. He was trained in the art of toe writing. Oh, have you ever seen Ghost? She makes that clay shit with her toes while she's getting. He has the studio.
This
He's
might
practicing
be,
that.
I can't believe I forgot this. When you read what I titled it, I had no memory of what this video was, and it might be the craziest he's ever sounded.
It is a bizarre video.
Easily access it, but it was covered up so that information wasn't readily available to the general public. I mean,
I hate to do this. Go back again. Okay. I gotta figure out what the fuck he's talking about.
All the way or halfway? Where you want?
I just want to hear that part about the writing on the. What is he writing?
Wrongfully arrested because I'm super peaceful and I would always avoid anyone in any scenario in which they were not being peaceful. But if I were wrongfully arrested, I would reserve the right to remain silent. I would shut the fuck up. And when my attorney is contacted, well, they're the ones that could do the speaking for me. Now, I would also take their number and I would put it in permanent marker somewhere on my body. Not
the attorney's number. The attorney's number. Okay.
Where anybody could access it, but where I could easily access it.
So, hold on. Why isn't the attorney's number in this prepaid cell phone that he has?
Well, the phone has been taken. He's thrown into a cage somewhere, and he's like, "Well, God, I have this number. I will be safe."
But when the police are roughing him up because he's so detrimental to society, when the police are giving this guy a wood shampoo, isn't there a chance the number gets smudged if it's on his arm? Why not write it down on a piece of paper and keep it in your pocket?
Is that an 8 or a 3? God damn it!
Why is it somewhere on your body? What's your attorney's number, Daniel? Hold on, let me take my shirt off.
You've created an interesting scenario because you get one call, Mike, and that number's a little smeared. He fucks up the number.
Daniel calling his attorney is like, "Dude, where's my car?" Daniel has to have the police read his back for some reason.
But it was covered up so that information wasn't readily available to the general public. I mean,
put it near your asshole is what he said, I think. Where are you going to put that
Just
number?
write it down and put it in your pocket. Why does this have to be so complicated?
Spy work, Mike. This is how Antifa works.
Hold on. Let me take my shoes and socks off. The area code is written on my left foot, and the rest of the number is on my right foot.
I have a poem here. Every 7th letter will spell out.
It's an encrypted message, but I think you'll be able to figure it out.
If I were going to be somebody protesting, these are some of the simple steps that I would think of in advance.
Yeah, that's easy.
What about you?
I got to tell you.
Jesus Christ.
I've heard a lot of people going back through the archives of the Kirk Minahan show lately while they're on break. So a lot of people have referenced the Gina episode to me. And that's where we heard a woman talk about throwing bricks through police station windows and burning them down. And I got to tell you, that's a way more efficient process. While fundamentally I don't agree with it, Gina streamlined this process in a way that Daniel Alexander could never dream of. She didn't have shit written on her body that's a secret message to attorneys. None of that.
There's this thing called memorizing, too. Yeah, I don't know about that, but, you know.
Or say, here's my attorney. Because he's an attorney, it's a public number.
Yeah,
just look it up.
At the jail. It's probably at the jail on the wall. Yeah. Tearful throwback. We're going to watch a tearful throwback.
Okay, so this is going back into the... This is 2022, I want to say.
Much skinnier, yes. Version, yes.
Don't body shame this man. I could stand to lose a few dozen myself, so I'm not gonna poke fun at his weight. But this is back in the day before Daniel got so serious. Well, maybe that's not true.
What numbers is he writing on his arm here, Mike?
Well, let's find out.
I was not prepared to cry coming out of the post office today.
Find a nickel. Find a nickel.
Well, Daniel, if only I could go back and tell you, start preparing. Because there's going to be a lot of tearful walks out of the post office.
A lot of wet mail, Daniel.
He might be... like George Carlin had a bit back in the day where he's like, I'm probably the only person who ever said this sentence, and then it would come up with wacky things.
Yeah.
Daniel Alexander might be the only person that's ever said that sentence. I wasn't prepared to cry at the post office today.
Other than someone who just got fired from the post office, I can't think of anyone.
No, yeah. Unless you were facing down the son of Sam, I can't imagine why you would have a tearful experience at the post office. But let's hear.
You were in the opening scene of Batman with the Joker.
Right.
I had an experience at the post office today. It made me cry.
I was not prepared to cry coming out of the post office today. I wasn't ready.
How do you prepare for that? What do you got to do?
All right, Daniel, come on. You can mail this letter. Tear free. Come on, buddy.
Ready for that. But I was able to sell a few paintings, and one of them I was shipping out today. And of course, all the proceeds are going to the art studio.
This is years ago.
Yeah.
This is 3 years ago. This art studio has been one of the greatest works. It is. I don't understand how it's taken so long. He was selling art back then 3 years ago to pay for this art studio.
G33 is calling up Daniel and be like, you got to let me in on this grift. How did you do this for so long?
We haven't even made a dent in this mortgage yet. How's that possible?
That is going to be a safe space for a lot of kids. And the guy behind the counter asked, the million questions like, is there something, I don't know, what do they ask, explosive in there?
You tell me, Daniel, you were there. Oh, this definitely isn't a lie. Hey, what do they ask at the post office? I don't know, guy that was just weeping there. Why don't you tell us?
All the kids that this could have helped are in postgraduate studies now.
Hold on, give me something they say at the post office. I want this to sound believable.
Is that priority mail?
Sure, yes, that's a question they would ask. Daniel, you were there. Tell us what they said.
Ask if something's breakable in there, and they have that whole list of things. And I started to explain to them what I was shipping and why I was shipping it. And as I continue to go further and further...
yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Is it going to murder someone on the opposite end? No. Okay, that's all I'm paid to ask.
I am never going to deal with the contents of this package. I can't imagine caring about anything less than your stupid fucking painting.
That is like the cashier at the store being like, well, this celery looks great. What are you going to do with this celery? I'm going to make food.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah. Oh, wheat thins. Now, do you eat them dry? Or are you planning on maybe putting a little cheese on them? What do you do with these?
Can you scan those, please? I want to go home.
Oh, wheat thins and hummus. That's interesting. Now, I'd like to have a talk with you about that. It's not like every other fucking customer that comes through here. The post office workers are praying it's 4 o'clock or whenever the post office closes, so they don't have to talk to people like you.
My cause in this world, helping others and supporting others and uplifting others. I could see his eyes welling up, and tears started to run down his face. And he asked if he could give me a hug.
Go back. We got to hear that again. We got to hear that again. So a man at the post office. Let me try and set the scene here. A man at the post office is like, what is this? Some of the usual bullshit we send around the country? You're probably mailing some regular mail, huh? Some boring, regular, unhelpful mail, I bet. And Daniel's like, as a matter of fact, it's a painting to pay for an art studio for at-risk youths. And the guy's like, oh my God. You're lying to me.
Get over here and give me a hug.
Are you shitting me right now? You better not be shitting me, pal, because I'm about to lose it.
I don't hug just everyone, you bastard. You better not be lying to me. Get over here.
Get over. I don't care if you're not a hugger. Come on in. Get in here. We're doing this. Let me hear that again.
Explosive in there? Not really. They ask if something's breakable in there, and they have that whole list of things. And I started to explain to them what I was shipping and why I was shipping it. And as I continue to go further and further into explaining my cause in this world, helping others and supporting others and uplifting others, I could see his eyes welling up, and tears started to run down his face. And he asked if he could give me a hug.
Can you imagine someone saying, first of all, can you imagine someone saying to you, well, what's in this package? Well, I help and uplift others. Okay, so
You want
So
insurance on that?
So what is this? It feels. Is it artwork? Is it a framed picture or something? It feels rather big, kind of unmistakable. I'm gonna guess that's what it is. Or are you gonna tell me what's happening here?
As I was talking about my son and my daughter, and I said, absolutely. And he came and gave me a big hug, and he said, if there were more dads like you in this world, I wouldn't feel so alone.
Why does he feel alone? Oh, what is going on with this man?
That's the greatest. Have we played this clip before? There's no way, right? I think this is
no,
before.
I've never. No.
I think this is before our time.
This would be in the outro.
Insane. Oh, if there were, get over here. The odds that Daniel found the post office with the one guy damaged enough that would have such an introspective meltdown like this.
That is amazing.
Tears started to run down his face, and he asked if he could give me a hug.
Did he whisper it, Daniel? Did he say, I just wish there were more dads like you? Did he whisper it while he was in the crook of your neck?
He slipped a book of stamps in my pocket as we hugged.
Take these. For what you're doing, it's worth it.
Mail these in peace.
As I was talking about my son and my daughter, and I said, absolutely. And he came and gave me a big hug, and he said, if there were more dads like you in this world, I wouldn't feel so alone.
Why does that? Hold on. If there were more dads, why does he feel so alone? What is his dad?
So I'm assuming. Well, first of all, it's a lie, so let's not think too hard about it.
I know.
But if we could, I'll play your game with you.
A man in knee-high socks. Go ahead.
This man at the post office.
Postman, yes.
This man never had a father, obviously. Okay. And he's been waiting every day for a father figure, and no teacher or coach or boss or role model or friend has ever, uncle, anything. Nothing has ever filled that void. Until Daniel Alexander walked in, and this male worker said, "Papa, may I call you Papa?" And Daniel said, "Right here, boy. Come on."
How are you with arts and crafts?
My daughter. And I said, absolutely. And he came and gave me a big hug, and he said, if there were more dads like you in this world, I wouldn't feel so alone.
And then he said, I love you, Dad.
He's not even saying, I want you as a dad. He's just more need to be like you, and I wouldn't feel like utter shit. God damn, what? This is
guy
who handles our mail? No.
Can you imagine the odds of Daniel walking into the post office the moment this man was having a crisis of character, where he's like, who even am I? What is the meaning of any of this? And while this guy's hanging from a thread, Daniel walks in. Thank God.
Right before Daniel, the post office man's sister was there. Like, you need to speak to Dad. He's about to die. You need to go see him. I'm not going to go see him. The next person that comes in is Daniel Alexander. That's the only way this happened.
Now, I think it's a lot of fun to think of what that guy would be at the post office.
Yes.
What's much scarier and darker to think about is that the odds are this conversation never happened. Mm-hmm. Which means this is how Daniel thinks of himself.
He's just a liar. Yeah.
Is that no? But he not even a liar. He thinks people should come up to him and say, "My God, I wish more fathers were like you, so this would be a good world to live in." More of you would fix the world. That's what Daniel believes.
He might be the darkest character that's ever existed.
And here's what I don't get. And maybe I say it too much, or maybe I don't say it enough. But here's what I can't wrap my head around is, like I said earlier, if I said something like this and was called out for it, like Daniel would watch this video and think we're being hateful monsters. And he probably thinks we hate all races of people other than whites and all that.
Hate post office people, yeah.
Yeah, we're Carl and I are real monsters in Daniel Alexander's mind. If I said that a man hugged me and said that if more people were like me, the world would be a better place. And one day I turned on Carl or whoever, and they're laughing at me, I would think, God damn it, I wish I deleted that in time. I can't imagine thinking like, those bastards are making fun of that moment. I would only think like, oh, what a douche I sound like. I wish this wasn't out there. I wish I could delete this from their channel. Daniel doesn't think that way. Daniel thinks like, how could these bigots hate all the good I'm doing?
Yes.
Beautiful things happen when you take care of other people.
That's true. That is true.
And when you mail out parcel packages.
Hey, if you open an art studio you can't afford, you too could get a hug at the post office.
I mean, you know, that post office guy really needs a rebate on that hug, because that was 3 years ago. No art studio. What he cried for doesn't exist.
Great point. I want to go back to that art student and be like, hey, you know the guy that brought you to your knees? And he's like, oh, how's the art studio? How many kids has it helped? And I'm like, buddy, I got bad news.
You're just like Dad.
I knew it.
Make all these promises, and then you leave me and Mom.
Mom told me he was never going to open that art studio. And I called her a liar.
I hugged you.
Oh, God.
Up next is a pride flag.
This is great. I forgot about this.
How can it be
there's too much Daniel this week. We should have skipped one of these videos and saved him for next week. So this was happening a lot. Remember, you probably remember this. Remember LeBron made up a like fake hate crime that happened to him? Did someone like wrote the N-word on his garage, and it just never happened?
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot of that happening probably 5-ish years ago. Like that started becoming a thing. The Bubba Wallace thing, is that the NASCAR driver?
Yes.
Where they were like, there's a noose, and it turned out it was just a rope that pulls down the garage.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that shit where people were looking for something where there was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the complete opposite of that. This is not even close to that. This is a real hate crime that happened in Daniel's neighborhood. Let's hear about it.
So somebody stole the Pride Ally flag from off my porch, and honestly, I don't think it's a bad thing, and let me share with you why.
Please.
So this right here is actually the flag in question, and it's just a small yard flag. It's only been out for a few days. I live in kind of a weird dynamic. I live on a pretty much dead-end road. It's a farm road with only 4 or 5 houses, and very few people know we're even back here. The truth is, though, it's a rural community, and even though we're on the outskirts of one of the biggest LGBTQ communities in all of New York, there's still a lot to be learned. So here's why I don't think it's that bad of a thing. There are very few people who could have come down here and could have seen it, and most likely, it was probably a teenage kid. Somebody looking for a little bit of hope, and hoping that there are adults out there that support them. Quite honestly, if somebody was going to steal it maliciously, they would have taken the doormat too. I'll replace that flag every single time to help support a
What
kid.
did the doormat say, out of curiosity?
It was a rainbow flag, so the logic dictates we're going to steal all the rainbow stuff because it's hate.
Yeah, we got to get it out of here.
Yeah.
There's gays in there. We have to get our message across to.
That's a bit of narcissism. Like, oh no, they didn't take it because they hate me. They take it because they need it.
Yes, these are probably. Here's what most likely happened: is the closeted gay youths ran down to Daniel's house in the middle of the night and stole his pride flag so that they could be gay in secret, but still represent it in flag form. That's most likely what happened.
Easy peasy. Occam razors, Mike. The easiest answer is always the right one.
Most likely what happened is these kids are so closeted and they're not allowed to talk about how gay they are that they stole a flag that would show everyone that they are in fact homosexual.
Mike, you know, if we had more dads like in this world, the world would be a better
That's a good
place.
point. Is that the end of that video? Oh,
yeah,
no,
that's the end of this one.
Okay,
no, that
well-
was just the idea. It was just a syllable he said there.
So that's most likely what happened. Is that closeted teens snuck down to Daniel's house and stole the flag. Second option is a Matthew Shepard type situation. You know, there were angry anti-gay protesters
pitchforks, yes.
Yeah, that came down to Daniel's house and said, "Get your queer rhetoric out of our town, you son of a bitch." And they missed the welcome mat, but they took this flag in anger. Get out of here. Well, in a distant third,
let me guess.
There is another option. And let's see what's behind door number 3, shall we?
Yes, the criminal was found.
Okay.
Well, I guess I owe you all an apology, and then I get to share with you why it ended up being incredible anyways. So the other day I spun a tale of what I thought happened to the Pride Progress flag that was on my front porch. And guess what? It was a kid that took off with it. It was a 2-year-old dog, one of my dogs, and she thought it was the greatest.
Nothing happened. So it turns out nothing happened.
No one cares about me. Dog took it as a toy.
You know, my right shoe is missing, and I think that's because people are siding with Derek Chauvin instead of George Floyd. There are anti-BLM protesters that snuck into my house and took my right shoe. Oh, there it is. Over on the dog bed. I'll shoot up.
This tennis ball has hard right slobber all over it.
That tennis ball, I suspect I'm one tennis ball short because of the Rodney King beatings. That's why I need to go down to the tennis shop again and replenish the balls. I don't have as many as I used to because Rodney King was wrongfully beaten in the streets by some ne'er-do-well officers. Oh, wait a second. It was Rufus. Rufus took my tennis ball.
Just imagine his neighbors washing dishes, looking across the street, seeing his dog run across the yard with a pride flag in his mouth and go, that tracks. Everything in the house is gay.
Well, isn't this Daniel just accused people of either being so gay they were driven to crime or so bigoted that they sought out his house in an act of protest. Turns out the dog found a chew toy, and this is how he reacts.
Greatest thing in the world. But it prompted me to buy a whole bunch of them. In fact, I bought a 50-pack of them, and I'm going to put them in a jar on my porch. And there's going to be a little sign that says, "Please take one." Because sometimes...
The dog?
That
should have been your reaction. That should have been your reaction when you thought it was the closeted children. You say, the dog can't read, Daniel. You don't need the sign.
This is all just a plan to make his property value go up. Look, all the dogs are gay. It's the safest neighborhood. You're never going to get attacked.
Oh, I didn't even get that level. He thinks the dogs are gay. He's like, good for you, Spike.
We have the largest gay dog population in all of upstate New York.
That's very brave of you.
It's not just enough to show your support and show your love. Sometimes it means that much more just to be able to share your support and share your love.
Support of what? The dog theft? What are you reacting to?
If you think about this rationally for a moment, he walked outside, a flag that he bought wasn't there. First thing he thinks, let's make a video about that. Let's blame a whole bunch of people. Then this whole thing ends with him buying a bunch of flags. He's just sticking them outside. His neighbors must be like, this guy is bizarre as fuck, man.
Some horrible racists knocked down my Kamala 2024 sign. Or it was the wind. And both are equally powerful.
It turns out I folded it up and put it away. Forgot about that.
I gotta tell you, that ability to spin, that warrants a tearful hug. That makes me want to go, Dan, get in here. I don't know how you did it, you son of a bitch. I don't know how you came out of this a hero again, but by God, you've done it.
Put him in charge of the fucking party right now. Put him in charge of the DNC.
So the way you scroll through TikTok, obviously, I saw the second video first. I saw the video where he's like, it was just the dog. I thought he was going to be like, oh my God, my kids took down the... I didn't realize he was going to have a theory about how it was either a hate crime or an act of fear from some at-risk gay youth.
Pretty close is going to be aliens. He's close to otherworldly things.
That is unbelievable. Those are some of the best Daniel videos we've ever had. I don't know.
Yes.
I almost want to thank him for not posting videos lately, because it gave me the ability to go back through the archives to when he was really hitting his stride. You know what I mean? Like, Michael Jordan on the Wizards averaged over 20 points a game. He was a pretty good player. That's what I remember Jordan on the Wizards. I don't really remember him on the Bulls.
Oh my God!
You know, I know
that is
It's
so
a shame.
sad. I saw him play live, Mike. I saw Michael Jordan play live.
Well, thanks to technology, I get to go back to 2022 and see Jordan play live.
Yes, you do.
He's wearing a mask. He's triple boosted, and he's making up hate crimes. Those were the day. That's the 72 win Bulls, my friend.
What dad of the year right here. I love this guy. Oh, we got a few super chats here, Mike. Then we'll get out of here. $2. The one pun. He gets arrested for the recreational cavity search.
honey, I'm going to go down and get arrested. I'll see you later.
Why do you have batons in your upper drawer? No reason. Rockerby 2002, $5. He'll only bring his phone to a protest if it involves alt-righters with tiki torches.
Yeah, but it didn't. So he's going to the opposite side's protest?
No, I think he's protesting. Maybe he's counting on a counter protest, but it sounded like more like I'm going to be dealing with the cops.
Yeah, he did not make that clear if there were counter protesters there.
It gets a little it's like a mosh pit, Mike. It gets murky in those protest pits.
Hey, I'm going to go down to the Ukraine rally and mosh for a bit.
Texum Bjorn Wrong, $20. Thank you so much, Texum Bjorn Wrong. Mike, you made me feel bad with your no super chat whining. LOL. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
That's not what I meant. I meant we don't get enough that it stops the show. Was my point.
Oh, yes. I remember specifically when Uncle Rico had too many super chats where it'd be like an hour before you got to the show. That can happen to a show. It gets too popular
for sure. Yeah, well, to where it's like, geez, I can't sit through this. You know what I mean? Like, I want to get back to the
but what do you do as a content?
Yeah,
as a content creator, though, you're kind of in a pickle because, like, you gotta sort of say hi to all these people. They need a multiple super chat.
You do and you
on the
don't.
screen.
You don't if that's not what the whole show is about. You know,
that's true. That's true. YouTube wants you to. That's for sure, though.
Yes.
Rockerby 2002, $2. Rob Saul's dog stole that flag.
It all comes together, doesn't it?
He's a gay dog. Well, Rob needed the flag for his own house, so he's trained his dog. Whenever you see this flag, you steal it.
Sure.
It's ours. Okay. Blind Mike, that's everything. Great show today.
Ooh,
where can we
beautiful.
find you?
I worked up a sweat from Daniel Alexander. I'll be back live Sunday morning, folks. Craig will be there. Very exciting. So we'll be back Sunday morning. Why are you laughing, by the way? If you miss me and Carl, me and Carl did 2 shows, I guess, this week. If you miss me and Carl together, you can watch Why You Laughing. We talked about Weird Al. Carl was there. Craig tried to bully us out of liking Weird Al, but I think by the end of it, maybe we convinced him. So it was a very fun episode. I grew a new respect. Like, I always, there are a couple of songs I enjoy. I enjoy Amish Paradise and songs like that. But I was never like a Weird Al fan. And then in doing that episode and watching a lot of interviews with him and stuff like that, I became a Weird Al fan. I really respect the way he handles himself. So go check that episode out.
Christmas at Ground Zero and Biggest Ball of Twine in Minnesota are my 2 favorite Weird Al songs.
I didn't think of this while we did the episode, but I think this is a Weird Al original, unless it's parodying something I'm not. It's a little like We Are the World, but not exactly. Don't Download This Song about Napster is very funny. And I think that's a Weird Al original.
Yeah, all his originals were amazing. And, by the way, in the world of musicians, very highly respected musician. Like, to be able to
that's what I learned. Yeah, that's what we talked about, yeah.
Yeah, no. Carl was there, too. All right. But yes, and you can find me at HackRideStudios.com, me and Electra.
What do you
and we have a show we have a show tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. A little, that's not it. Unboxing Riley Martin is what we're doing tonight. So
go check that out.
Yeah, episode 7. And then verygoodShow.org for Quakers.
Yeah, support all the boys that support this show. We thank you guys and appreciate your support. And we'll talk to you Sunday morning at 10 a.m.
Bye. It was a mashup, guys. Later.
Oh, yeah.